Welcome to the Zoom Test Kitchen, where the magic happens live. Every Friday we're on air, testing tech to thrive. From screen share to breakout rooms, we push Zoom to its max. So sit back, relax, and let's see what's in our tech hacks. Zooming in, we're testing it all. Live on YouTube each week. From audio to video, no feature we won't tweak. We're the Zoom Test Kitchen crew, here to innovate. Join the fun, learn the tech, don't be late. We'll dive into the settings, explore every single tab. Make sure your mic is clear, your camera not a drab. We'll show you how to host like a pro, manage like a king. With Zoom Test Kitchen, you'll be zooming with a zing. Zooming in, we're testing it all. Live on YouTube each week. From audio to video, no feature we won't tweak. We're the Zoom Test Kitchen crew, here to innovate. Join the fun, learn the tech, don't be late. Whether you're new to Zoom or an expert in disguise, we've got tips and tricks. We'll open up your eyes. From polls to quizzes, we test functionalities. Join us live, see what Zoom does with ease. So if your meetings lag, or you can't share your screen, or if your audio echoes like you're stuck in between, we've got solutions, we'll show you how it's done. Zoom Test Kitchen, where Zoom fun has begun. Zooming in, we're testing it all. Live on YouTube each week. From audio to video, no feature we won't tweak. We're the Zoom Test Kitchen crew, here to innovate. Join the fun, learn the tech, don't be late. So tune in, don't miss out on this tech fest we lead. Every Friday, Zoom Test Kitchen, where you'll succeed. We'll make your Zoom meeting smooth, keep the tech in check. In the Zoom Test Kitchen, we've got your back, no wreck. So tune in, don't miss out on this tech fest we lead. Every Friday, Zoom Test Kitchen, where you'll succeed. We'll make your Zoom meeting smooth, keep the tech in check. In the Zoom Test Kitchen, we've got your back, no wreck. These lyrics capture the essence of what the Zoom Test Kitchen does, focusing on testing and teaching about Zoom functionalities in a fun, engaging way. We're zooming in, we're testing it all. Live on YouTube each week. From audio to video, no feature we won't tweak. We're the Zoom Test Kitchen crew, here to innovate. Join the fun, learn the tech, don't be late. We've got your back, no wreck. We've got your back, no wreck. These lyrics capture the essence of what the Zoom Test Kitchen does, focusing on testing and teaching about Zoom functionalities in a fun, engaging way.
Well, hello, 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 my smoky friends from up north. I hope you all are doing okay up there, and thanks for sharing, sending it down our way. In New York and New Jersey and DC, we're seeing it also, but I hope you all are doing well. Welcome to the Zoom Test Kitchen. Boy, we have a amazing group of folks here today. Look at these gorgeous faces. Wait, do I have it set up so that you can see the gorgeous faces? I don't know. I have to check. Oh, no, I don't. Hold on. Here are all the gorgeous faces. Hey, Mike, how you doing, sir?
Doing all right and staying out of the smoke.
Yeah, what is that? Where's the fire? Exactly.
Where is the fire?
Other than everywhere.
Other
Is
than
it
everywhere.
Is it everywhere?
It's right about there.
Dear Lord.
So that would be the major portion of that is Northern Ontario.
Holy.
And of course, I'm down here. So.
Wait, where's down here?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, wrong screen. I'm the lower portion of that. If you look at the Great Lakes, I'm just
Yeah.
north of the Lake Ontario there. So that big plume is coming early
Yeah,
this morning.
toward
will be
you.
going by
Yeah.
us. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yep.
Holy moly, that's insane. All right, well, stay safe, Mike.
We'll do.
Yeah. Robert, how are you, sir?
I am very good. I'm living on YouTube and as opposed to being live on YouTube. And you live on YouTube on Thursdays and Fridays, David.
Yeah. Yeah. There is something in the release notes that, of course, I spend most of my day thinking about Robert. Because every time I see something about translation, I think about you. And I work at, so there's something, we'll get to it in the release notes for Monday for Zoom meetings. There's a new voice translator. General ability is coming to everyone, which will be
I'm
interesting.
looking forward to talking about that because I've also attended a couple of Synthesia. Synthesia has introduced voice dubbing with lip sync, taking out all of the delays when you have longer words or longer sentences.
Oh my gosh, you're kidding me.
Very, very clever. It's scary to see.
Wow.
We'll talk about it in a second.
Wow. Peter Sargent, how you doing, sir?
Doing good. Not smoky down here. Lots of rain, but no smoke.
I love seeing you on the Tuesday Focus shows. It's so nice when you get to hop on there. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I know Florence asked me to do one for what I do with scouts. And I said, the unfortunate problem is Tuesday nights is often when I'm doing it for scouts.
That's a problem. That's a problem. Hello, Mr. Drinkwater. Excuse me, Professor Drinkwater. How are you? Yeah.
Still trying to make sense of this production studio bits. Found some functions that allow me to turn on and off production studio and find out who is running production studio. Haven't solved my audio issue yet, but we're working towards it.
Look at that beautiful lower third. What are you using to bring that on?
I'm using a technology called video filters.
Oh, okay. Hey, speaking of that, John Drinkwater, Andy Lehman just got here. And I don't know if we're allowed to do this, Andy, but would you be willing? Could we open what you're going to be doing to folks? Because we were just talking about it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's fine.
All right, great. So I'll let Andy tell you about it. But I'm very, Andy's doing something. It's not a big deal, but I'm very excited about it.
So
go ahead.
I'll kind of talk about it a little bit. I'm not ready to do anything here. But essentially in the latest alpha version of Ecamm, they have introduced what Andy Carluccio has called the bring your own engine, which essentially if you're in the Zoom Plus, Zoom Webinar Plus, and you are using Ecamm, so I'm pulling all your video sources into Ecamm and switching and stuff, there's a switch in Ecamm that you can turn on as long as you have Zoom Production Studio turned on in the webinar, that will effectively take your output from Ecamm and use that as the switching engine. And so all of your audio coming from your guests and everything are going to come through your Ecamm instance, and everything is going to stay in sync.
But the most exciting thing is that Andy's going to demo this. That's what I was getting at. So is it next Thursday? I forget.
Yes.
Yeah. So next Thursday, I think at I don't know. It's on my calendar somewhere. Yeah. So we'll share that with you.
But we'll share the link in there.
He's the official master of this now, since there are only two people that have ever used it, him and I. He's the master of it now. So I'm very excited about that. Robert and John, if you don't mind, hold on one second. I just want to finish going around real quick. I want to say hello to Ray. Good to see you, Ray. How are you, sir?
Doing well. It's Friday. It's a little cooler here in Phoenix. We've had a little bit of rain, which makes it a little more humid. But other than that, doing well.
You'll take it. And we got Julie here. Good to see you, Julie. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, hello. And Roland Booth is here. Roland is here first, and he had to listen. Roland gets extra credit points today because for the first half an hour, I was not on mute. And so he had to sit there and listen to everything I was doing because I forgot to mute myself. And then Roland
Yeah,
said,
and I eventually I just turned off my audio.
Oh my God. I apologize for that, Roland. And every other meeting I come into, I'm muted by default. I guess I didn't turn that on here. I apologize. Okay, let's get back. So Robert, and then John, and then we'll jump into some other stuff. Go ahead, Robert.
Okay, I'm really looking forward to seeing this demo of yours, Andy. But if you could just give me a couple of things that are flashing across my mind. What do you see as the program view in Production Studio?
You don't actually have Production Studio open at all. You don't need to do that. What will happen is essentially it just uses your output as like the program, but you don't have to have Production Studio open at all. You just slide the slider in Ecamm over and it forces it out. I forget I don't remember if there's a separate Production Studio. I think there's a Production Studio participant that comes into the meeting just like it does when you're using Production Studio. But you don't have to open Production Studio. In fact, you can't open it because if you do, then I wasn't able to successfully do it once you've opened it up.
Okay, so it replaces Production Studio in that case. But okay, but the question I'm getting to is, do the panelists actually see what's going out to the attendees?
Yeah, so they would have the same view that they would if Production Studio was running, where it has the program or whatever however it shows up in there.
Okay, so it's a real hybrid between production. Well, it's a different version of Production Studio. Oh,
yeah.
Right.
It's
You're just
using Ecamm as Production Studio,
as the engine, right? But essentially, it's doing the same thing. You're building your scenes in Ecamm, and it from obviously I don't have any background knowledge since I don't work for Zoom, but I'm assuming what it's doing is the same thing, where it's muting all the output of the audio from the attendee or from the panelists and shoving that all through your production. Same thing as it would be if you were using Production Studio.
Okay, I owe John Drinkwater an apology. I gave him a hard time asking for a use case for this. And now that I can see it, now I'm beginning to understand it. So sorry, John, just a lack of, I don't know, visual intelligence on my side.
This is, yeah, I mean, this solves the having to have two meetings problem. Although I think what I was going to say what most people want. I shouldn't say that. What I would really like is for this functionality to come to meetings also, not just webinars. I'm happy to pay for Webinar Plus. I'm happy, I get that it's added. I understand that I'm not asking it for free, but I'd love for the functionality to work. And I also understand that that's more difficult because then you don't have a stage but in any case.
Yeah. One thing I did notice is you have to be in, like, as your Ecamm user that's joining the meeting in Ecamm, you have to be on stage in order for this to work. Because it has to grab, and same thing with all of your attendees that you're grabbing, are not attendees, panelists. They have to be on stage just like they would in Production Studio to be in the production. Otherwise, Ecamm sees them in the boxes, but you can't. It shows everything is muted, like video and audio is muted. You can't use them in your production unless they're on stage.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Andy, one more question. When you do this demo, can you just prepare to do a test and that if you lose Ecamm, can you switch to Production Studio as your backup?
Oh, interesting. That's I'll play around with that. I've not done that yet. That's a good thing to test.
So that'll make it solid as a rock if that can happen, because anything happens with Ecamm, anything comes with your internet, because of course with Ecamm you're bringing everything to one location. You've got your one internet. So if as a backup for that, having Production Studio set up ready with a specific scene, you just bang it. Tell your co-worker, if you see me disappear,
it's
open
your
Production
job.
Studio, and you're on it. Okay, thank you. Really excited.
John, did you want to jump in? And I apologize for putting you on the spot, Andy. I was so excited when you offered to do the demo.
Yeah, what do I say? Well, Andy, thanks for implementing it. That's great. we've had a
I didn't
we've had a
implement
long
it.
fight.
I'm just testing.
Well, but
I'm
we've
not-
had a
I'm not the
long
developer.
fight to try and get people, because we knew there was something in this because of the way people answered things to us, didn't give us straight answers, and we knew there was something into this. And I'm over the moon that you've implemented it.
Yeah, not,
Bit of
yeah.
an unfair
Again,
question to you, but don't you think this is something that we should get all of these software switcher application people
They
to
were
implement for
all
Zoom?
invited, John. They
Yeah,
they
they're-
all got
from what I
an
understand.
email last year.
They're all, everybody's invited, but the problem is it's a beep 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 bleep 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 nightmare trying to find the documentation from Zoom. It
Well,
is so buried.
You'll have to talk to Zoom about that.
Well, I do talk to Zoom about it, and nobody understands it. So it's
Awesome.
great that somebody's proved it, because Andy's guys have actually managed to get all the code together and get it to actually work. So that's fantastic. But yeah, I will pull no punches in having a Zoom for not releasing it, because this is the final solution. This is the final way of getting everything into all these other apps, getting them into Zoom and making the value of Zoom, and that makes Zoom more strong. I don't think it undermines Production Studio. I think it actually makes it better. So thank you.
Robert,
Do you work for Ecamm?
No, I'm a moderator over there, but I don't work for them at all.
Okay, so they have access to this documentation, not you.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm with you. Good.
Yeah, I just happened to. I was testing. I like David had just had the PPA account, and so I hadn't really done a whole lot of testing with it. But I recently got a Webinar Plus, and so I started playing with it, an actual monthly subscription. And so I started playing with it and realized how cool it was when I was like, hey, this actually, because I do monthly webinars, and I'm up until this point had just been having everyone in their own talent meeting, and that works for me because I was able to do that in Ecamm, but I didn't have a way for my backup person to do that, and so we got Webinar Plus and allowed them to be able to use Webinar Plus in Production Studio. And so then I started playing with it and said, hey, I don't even, personally for myself, don't need to have a separate talent meeting. I can just use Webinar Plus.
Brilliant.
That's awesome. Yeah, go ahead, John.
If you were to type into your search engine of choice, Zoom, bring your own, actually, you'd be amazed how many bring your own type products Zoom has. They have bring your own products so you can connect to Zoom rooms. They have bring your own products so you can build your own telephony system into the environment. Their bring your own integration is actually quite an impressive list.
Yeah, that's cool. Very nice. So again, I apologize for putting you on the spot, but thank you for sharing that with us.
No problem.
I appreciate it. I don't know if anyone saw, I popped this in the Discord. Does anyone follow Seth Godin? This was on his blog this week, which is fantastic.
It was very interesting reading.
Yeah, it was fantastic. He does a little blog every day. Seth Godin, he's a marketing guru, and he's given TED Talks and stuff like that. So it's very short. Is it okay if I share my screen? He argues, as soon as you say that, you've killed the meeting. It's over. Even if you were engaging with people, you took a new medium, you stuffed an old one into it, you changed the dynamic, and you ruined it. Throwing your PowerPoint into the mix transforms the dynamic. It takes your face off the screen and makes everyone else irrelevant. It forbids interaction, and it prevents you from reacting to the room as it unfolds, since it's linear. I mean, this is very much the reason we want to use Production Studio and tools like that. The disrespect comes through, even if you didn't intend it to. If you have something to show us, send it before the meeting. If there's a memo, we can read it in advance or afterward. In fact, if the memo isn't really important, simply pause the meeting while we take 2 minutes to read it. We know how to read. Reading and interacting are different events. PowerPoint was invented by socially awkward engineers as a way to create deniability and clarity in boring tech meetings. It's a persistently misused piece of tech used as a crutch or an effective way to hide. If you call a meeting, do the work to earn it. Make sure you're prepared. Make sure they are too. Use any excuse you can to cancel the meeting and replace it with a memo. one that's short, clear, and designed to accept responsibility. And then he talks about the power of short and punchy videos. Show and tell has a long history going back to first grade, but if you're going to do show and tell, do it with care. I just thought this was fantastic.
What it reminded me of, there was the comment about PowerPoint up there. I had to laugh when I read that, but because I could be accused of being one of those socially awkward engineers in my, but back when I used to do technical briefings for clients, when I worked for IBM, I was notorious for not using the very carefully prepared slides, and they were really slides prepared by IBM Communications, and just sticking with a whiteboard or a blackboard, depending how far back in time you go. And used to drive the communications types nuts because I would never use their carefully prepared material. But the clients always loved the fact that I was having a very interactive discussion with them. And where I needed to, I'd draw on the whiteboard. When I didn't need to, I just sat and talked with them, right?
Yeah.
And that's what this is saying. That's exactly
Absolutely.
what this note is saying, right?
Right. And again, that's why Production Studio can be so powerful. That's why all these other tools can be so powerful. And in fairness, I understand Zoom's implementation of screen share. I think that the assumption is both you, the presenter, and everyone else, the focus is now on this document or this PowerPoint or this whatever that you're sharing, which is why as the presenter, pretty much everything disappears for me except for the screen share, because it assumes that you want to be looking at the screen share. His argument, as is mine, he just does it much more eloquently, is that not only does it kill the engagement, but this is the piece that really gets to me. The disrespect comes through even if you didn't intend it to. It's actually disrespectful to show people a bunch of slides when instead of actually engaging with them. It's just a really, really interesting piece, I think. Go ahead, Ray.
I agree with the last part of the sentence that you just said. It's not good to replace the engagement with PowerPoint. What I have a disagreement with really is sort of the general premise that if you ever bring up a PowerPoint, you've ruined everything. We know people that can bring up PowerPoints and have an engagement with their audience and have a really valid, not somebody talking head up front that's just doing their thing. But if that were the case, I would go, okay, every time the CEO stands up in front of an audience, he should not have a video wall in the back for him to show things. Just have the CEO stand up and have his face in front. So I mean, I
but I think
going for, but yeah.
I think
I don't think that's what Seth is saying here. I think Seth is talking specifically in the Zoomiverse. How if I'm a speaker on a stage, I'm still front and center when I'm speaking. If there's a video wall behind me in Zoom, I'm not front and center anymore when I go to screen share,
right? Because
unless you're using dual monitor, which it's funny because I forget the experience on single monitor because I'm so used to dual monitor. I can if someone screen shares right now, you all stay right there. I can see you perfectly. But if you're on a single monitor, that's not the experience. And so I think that's what he's talking about, is specifically in the Zoomiverse.
Again, I respectfully disagree. Zoom has made view options up there, and you can make that little slider in the middle, and you can have the gallery view over there. And yeah, you can't put slide 49 people over there, but you can go, I don't want to look at the screen share. I would rather look at the gallery view. You have control over that. And to me, that's kind of, I have to be careful how I say this, sort of Zoom's failing, is that they haven't really educated the public that you can mix and match whatever you're going to look at anytime you want in a meeting.
But that's the point, Ray, is they haven't educated the public. and the defaults do not encourage it.
Yeah, but Seth also he ignores all of that. You're absolutely
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
He doesn't even mention the idea. And this isn't about being critical. This is about being careful and intellectual readers of a text. You're right. He those are available to us, and he doesn't mention that. I think I don't know. Yeah, really interesting, Robert.
Just going to say, let's not bash Zoom for giving us these tools that they've given us, because they've made them available for us to use. The way we use them is really our prerogative. But I do a monthly webinar where the people use something called Pechakucha. Pechakucha is a Japanese storytelling mythology, whereby they use images, and the emotion that comes through with the messaging is mainly through the images. It's absolutely amazing when someone does it properly. And the amount of bullet points or words that they can have on a screen is also limited. So it's actually the person who's telling the story, and the presentation is just backup images to create an emotion that is associated with what the messaging is.
They used that, Robert, in the New Zealand conference that I helped them with a couple of years ago, where they brought in 4 speakers and they each presented Pechakucha style. Now, the other piece that you haven't mentioned is, the rule is 20 slides each for 20 seconds. So you get 7 minutes. That's all you get is 7 minutes. And so in 28 minutes, you can have 4 people present, and their voice comes through. The imagery sort of backs them up. It is really very powerful. And I recommend it to all of my presenters whenever I can. And a couple of them have said, I can't go all the way there, but I think I'm going to take some words out and put up some pictures and, just let them listen to my voice. And I said, that's what they're there for. They want to learn from you.
Exactly 20 slides, 20 seconds per slide. Slides change automatically, so you must sync your talking points with the timer. Total time is 6 minutes and 40 seconds. Slides have large, high-res images with minimal to no words. Wow.
And what we did at the New Zealand event was, after the 4 presenters were done, we opened up 4 breakout rooms where each of the presenters was in a room, and you could then interact directly with the presenter and ask questions and that sort of stuff. And that went over really, really well.
That's very cool. There is a Pechakucha platform at pechakucha.com where you can find upcoming Pechakucha night events. Are these like poetry slams? But it looks like it is, actually.
It's all sorts of stuff. You join up, and then you can do something. You go and present it there, and people give you feedback. It's a learning process. It's a very big community.
Wow.
David, I'd like to change the topic for a second.
Go for it.
Has joined us.
Hello.
Was that the new topic that has joined us?
I just wanted to change subject for a minute.
Yay,
Thank you. Hi. And it sounds like I missed something great about Production Studio at the beginning. And I was going to ask AI to catch me up, but I couldn't.
Oh, well, you should be able to do that, though. That's the new thing. Didn't that come out yet?
I couldn't.
We read that or maybe I didn't start it or something. But we read. Oh no, it's on. No. Sorry. Yeah, Zoom AI was not started yet. That's why. That's on me. Sorry. I don't have it turned on automatically. But you should be now, if someone comes in, they should be able to get caught up from where we started Zoom AI.
You should be able to also, through notes, get something as well. Go ahead, Ray.
Thank you.
Yeah. If you think about it, go into your settings and turn on the auto start of My Notes. My Notes will grab a transcript. My Notes will create a summary when you're done. There is a bit of AI that you can do with it, but there's also a small tab you can click and type in your own manual notes. And I use this now for every meeting, and I typically share with my attendees as well. And it auto starts every time, so that if I have to step away for a moment and I missed something, the transcript is there. You can click the transcript tab and scroll back up and read it. Yeah, do
if
that.
you
And the Zoom host doesn't have to have cloud recording or AI turned on. They just have to have it not disabled, that you
Right.
can do your own transcript.
So if you are on, let me turn this back, sorry. So here in Zoom, this is my Zoom window. If you click on the notes button, you'll see up here, use meeting transcript, and then auto start note for future meetings. Just toggle that guy, and it
Yeah.
will,
What
from now on,
happens when you
it'll
do that is
auto-start.
that start meeting transcript is auto started when you join the meeting.
So there you go. It's great. That's a great tip. Thank you. Lois Richter joined us. Oh, and now she's gone. She was here, but then now she's back. No, she's not here. She's gone. Okay.
Hold on. Get my mic in there. So the thing you were just talking about of getting a transcript of what happened so you can catch me up, is that available to catch you up from the beginning of the meeting?
I believe the answer is no. I believe the transcript
Right.
that you get, it starts when you join the meeting. But
Okay.
you get everything while you were in the meeting.
But
Didn't there
Lois,
used to be one that said catch me up?
yes. So that's Zoom AI companion. Zoom AI. That if that's turned on from the beginning of the meeting, I believe you can type in "catch me up" and it will catch you up.
Is it
But
on? I don't see
it is now,
anywhere.
but it is on now, but I didn't have it turned on at the beginning of the meeting. But if you click on at the top, if you click on the there should be a where is it? And the top
That
right
funny
next to
little
the
star?
right next to the view, yeah, the star.
Uh-huh.
You should see Zoom AI is on. You can ask meeting questions.
I will
And
try it out.
that'll open it up for you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Sorry, Irma, I'm just reading your comment. Many do you want to share this with us? I'd love to.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I have a question, but the feature that, I mean, it's been out for a long time, where you can toggle your screen, you can toggle your view, as Ray said, between gallery and looking at a screen share that somebody has up, right? Like, I feel like that's such a great feature, and I've shared that with facilitators, and they don't educate their, participants, their meeting guests on that. So that you can kind of bring people along with you. It's like, I've got the screen share up, meet me in screen share, and now we're going to toggle back and be in meeting without ever having to take anything down. I feel like that's something that could pretty easily be done and explained to people, but I'm surprised that it's not, is what I'm saying.
I think that more often than not, by the way, we're getting a little bit of slapback, Irma. I don't know if you have an open speaker or something, but
I'll put my things in. Sorry.
just a little bit. Or you might have original audio on also, because if it's hearing it. I think a lot of times the presenters do that. They'll kind of take down the screen share, then put it back up, and take it down and put it back up. But you're right. If we instead just say, hey, just like on your browser, there are tabs at the top, and you can just toggle between the tabs.
Yeah.
I know that on Leo's shows for the Twit network, he starts a screen share at the beginning of the show, and then instructs all of his panelists to don't look at. I mean, you can look at it, but you switch back to the gallery view.
Yeah.
Because he uses that screen, because in Ecamm, excuse me, in order to use the screen share as a camera source, you have to grab it once it's active. And so if someone wants to pop something up real quick, it takes a hot second to just click the button and put it in the right camera speed. So if you just have it running consistently, you can have it all queued up and ready to go. So that's how he does it. But you're right. Did you have a question you want to throw out?
I do. Forgive me, John, Ray, Mike, because this was discussed on Tuesday as well. But it is about Production Studio and the fact that you have to have Webinar or Webinar Plus to use Production Studio. And I feel like that's to get me to buy Production Studio or to get me to buy Webinar or Webinar Plus, to be honest. So I just, yeah, like, is there, I mean, breakout rooms were not available and webinars, there were only meetings for the longest time. I just feel like, why can't this feature be an add-on that you can just purchase? Because it doesn't only apply to large meetings. Like, for example, I had an event the other day and I think there were 60 people and it was very webinar-ish because we didn't let people turn their cameras on. We didn't let them unmute. And I would have loved to have used Production Studio instead of Ecamm, but instead used Ecamm. So anyway, that's just my comment about that. Unless I'm missing something really major about it, I, yeah, don't get it. Oh,
Well,
right on.
there's
Same.
there's a couple of pieces that I'll pop in here with Arm.
Thank you, Ray.
You know, number one, you can actually get a monthly Webinar Plus license for 100 people, and I believe David, one of you guys might know that. Is it $100 a month? I think. You know, so for $100 a month, I don't know what you're paying for your webinar license. If you get a webinar license, you get 500 people and you're paying $79 a month. If most of your events are actually smaller, you know, 100 or less, a Webinars Plus license, if you're going to have 2 or 3 smaller events in a month, is good because you can do it monthly. You can only do the 100 person licenses monthly. The others require the annual purchase.
So
Now,
here are the options.
go
I'll
ahead.
just show you real quick, and then Ray, please jump back in. So for Webinars Plus, you've got monthly subscription 100. You can do an annual subscription of 100, and it's cheaper actually. So you can actually do
You
that.
pay for it all up front.
Yeah. So, but you save 16%. So that's actually a pretty good deal. So it's basically $1,200 a year if you're doing it monthly. And if you do it annually, it's what is that? Annual subscription. $82.50 a month.
But if you're
What is
doing
that?
it monthly, you can turn it on and turn it off. So you might only use it 3 months a year, which you can do at that level. At the higher levels, you're forced to do annual. So that's the difference that the 100 user gives you.
But here's the other approach. Here's the other approach is get the Webinars Plus license and only buy a webinar license when you actually need to have 100 to 500 people. Because when you've got the Webinars Plus license, you can use Production Studio in your webinars.
So you're saying, I don't understand. So you're saying buy the lower level Webinars Plus.
Yes.
And then so buy the 100 seat Webinars Plus, and then when you actually have a webinar that requires more seats, then you switch over and you purchase the 500 attendee webinar license.
Yes, because if you have Webinars Plus, you get the full Production Studio capability in your webinar.
If you have the 100 attendees Webinar Plus, is there not like a large meeting add-on type of deal that you could get for one time?
No.
Oh, there isn't.
None
Okay.
of the subscription models have the ability to, I want to be larger than this. That's when you go over to the PPA model. Oh, I need to have a 5,000 person thing. You know, if you click your little Webinars Plus licenses down there to 5,000 people and see what the price is, you know, it's
Right.
It's $1,000 a month.
Right. Because in meetings, there's just a large meeting add-on.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
But so it's different for webinars. Gotcha.
But even if you were to go over just to a webinar and get the 5,000, I mean, it could help you, I think.
Right. So if we did for 1 month, right, 5,000 is $2,400. I think, I think the answer to your question is yeah. They're trying to make money. That's their job. So yeah, I think the other thing though is, and I don't know if, when I said before that I'd love for all of this functionality to come to meetings, it really won't work in meetings. I mean, without that stage, it none of this stuff really works. So, at least Production Studio doesn't.
It would have worked. That's what I'm saying. It would have worked just great the other day, David, with only like 60 people. They were two speakers on stage.
In a
Like
webinar, right?
No, it was a meeting. It was a meeting.
No, but it
So
can't. But what I'm saying is, I don't. It doesn't work in meetings. I don't think it, because I'm sorry.
like you can't go ahead. Sorry.
But
Go ahead.
it technically webinars are different than meetings because what you have in a webinar is you can put people on stage, and so what you're able to do with Production Studio or with the Ecamm, the BYO, whatever they call it, is you can choose to only put up the produced thing, and that way people can't see or hear the other your participants. But in a meeting, because everyone can see and hear everyone,
Got it.
I just technically I think it's different. It may not work that way, but hopefully I hope I'm wrong, because I'd love to see it come to meetings. Robert, go ahead.
Ray, I just want to come back to you. I have never done that, what you just mentioned before, about using a webinar license and a Webinar Plus license. But just looking at the whole pricing layout by Zoom, I've never doubted you, but are you sure about this? This is a lot of money that is being put under the table.
Well, there's a couple of things in here that I haven't tried either. What I don't know for sure, and I've written myself a note to go do some research, is if you've got a Webinars Plus license for 100 and you use a Webinar 500, will that cause that webinar, if you're going to use Production Studio, will that cause that webinar to only take in 100 people? I don't think so, but I got to do some research on that.
Well, that's one thing I have tried, and I can tell you that having a larger webinar license doesn't increase your Webinar Plus capacity.
Sure, true. You can't schedule something in Webinar Plus for 500 just because you have webinars for 500.
Yeah.
But the question is, can you use Production Studio because you have the license of any size on a subscription basis in any of your webinars, regardless of size?
In the same way that ISO or OSC are technically bundled with your Webinars Plus license. They're not limited to only be used in Webinars Plus. So the question is, can we use Production Studio outside of, just for the pricing side of it? If I were to purchase a Webinars Plus monthly subscription for 100 attendees, that's $100. And then a $500 webinar for 1 month is $129. So that comes up to $229. If I were to just go with a Webinars Plus 500, which you can only do as an annual subscription, that's, although I presume you could, I don't know if you could cancel it, but it comes up to $290. So you actually can't do a monthly subscription for 500 as Webinars Plus. So the only way to do what you were just describing, Ray, is to, if you don't want a yearly license and you're going to have more than 100, the only way to try and get around that is to do the 100 monthly and then a larger webinar here, assuming, as Robert is asking, that it works.
I don't know. I've never seen the options in a standard webinar. I've given up a standard webinar license now this year because I'm doing everything. I have a 100 Webinar Plus license that I do all my testing and presentations on. And because my clients want to have their own license and they want to have access to their own data for privacy points, they always buy a paper attendee license. And then we just move the configuration once we've tested it on our 100 platform to their platform, and they're happy. But and of course, we've made the mistake of trying to add licenses to each other. And you can do that if you've got 100, for example, PAs, and you buy another 500, so you have a 600 in total. That works fine. But what you can't do is add PAs to subscriptions. That
Correct.
doesn't work.
Right.
Yeah.
Ray, can you clarify the conversation is happening in chat with Andy that if you have a webinars license and then you purchase Webinars Plus, Andy, it looks like you're saying that they kind of kicked you off your Webinars license.
Yeah. So when I did I mean, this is a corporate account, and so we have the licenses, and we didn't get rid of the regular webinar one. But as soon as I assigned the Webinar Plus to my user, it unchecked the Webinar Plus, and or the regular webinar, and I don't think I could go back in and check it.
So Andy, was your webinar license 500 and your Webinar Plus license 500?
Oh, yes. So maybe that's why, because it's
So
essentially.
and let me tell you why it might have done that. It's actually doing you a favor, because when you get a Webinar Plus license or a Zoom Events license for 500, you have access to webinars, plain and simple webinars 500, by virtue of having that license.
That makes sense. I see what you're saying now.
Yeah. So it might have said, oh, you don't need that license. You've got this one.
Yeah.
And what you've done is freed that up for somebody else to use it if you like, or cancel it.
Yeah. Correct.
I have a question. Webinars Plus is really just webinars with frills, right?
Wrong way to think of it, David.
No?
It's in my view, it's the wrong way to think of it. It's the way Zoom presents it, but it's not the way I think of it.
Okay.
Think of as Webinars Plus license as being Zoom Events license with everything except multi-day, multi-concurrent session. So in some sense, yes, but the answer is no. Webinars Plus, you can schedule single events, recurring events, you can schedule simple light, you can schedule all different sorts of individual recurring sessions, but they could be webinars or meetings. They have production studio, they have they end up in your hub, and the recordings are there, and people can watch the recording when it's done without having to get the stupid link and the passcode and all that kind of.
It really should be called Events Light or something.
Thank you, David.
Right?
That's what I would call it.
But yeah. Oh, that's really interesting. I didn't realize that.
They want to position it as a step up from just a regular webinar, and that
right.
I get that, but yeah, from a product differentiation point of view,
it's closer to events than it is to webinars. The thing about events is that I think that bundling it or having it sound like it's an event platform, I think for some people would feel overwhelming. So I don't need all that fancy stuff. I just want to, whatever. And so maybe they dumb the name down a little bit to help those of us.
Yeah.
Interesting. Go ahead, John, please.
That was very profound of you, David. You said you want an events license without all the fangly dangly things or something. I think what a lot of people underestimate about Zoom Events and Zoom Webinars Plus is a lot of those fangly dangly things that you mentioned are things like creating the registration page, having all the registration emails sent to you, having the follow-up emails afterwards, all that management that if you use plain old webinars, full stop, you've got to have a CRM to do all that work. And if you get Webinars Plus, it does all those fancy things for you. Doesn't stop you putting the answer in your CRM, but it actually makes things easier because you've got the ability to do all the, all that email and all the marketing and all the effectively landing pages and registration pages all in the tool, and you can customize them. And I think probably when you live in Zoom meetings and you can't do all those things, you forget all those processes that are needed when you do a big event, whether it's a single session event in Webinars Plus or it's a multi-day or anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's Zoom's fault.
Well,
They've got so many features that come out so quickly, we just can't keep up with them to get the message out to everybody.
speaking of which, we're getting 7.1.5 on Monday. We'll talk about that soon. But Robert, go ahead.
There's a twist to this Webinar Plus because it all depends where you initiate your webinar from, because you can initiate Webinar Plus as a webinar. In other words, from your Zoom portal, as opposed from your events portal. And when you initiate it from your Zoom portal, it looks like a webinar. You get the standard registration forms. You get everything you're used to with the standard Zoom type registration form. If you initiate it from events, from the hub, then you go through the events type registration and you have all of the bells and whistles that Ray and John are talking about over here. So there's a twist to it. And I'm not sure why they did that, but I get the impression that at one point they wanted to allow people to move over across to Production Studio in an easier way without having to go into events. And it was a time, if you remember last year, events was getting a lot of backlash for the complications of joining an event by an attendee. And they've simplified that and they don't have that issue anymore. So whether or not they're going to continue with this two ways of defining a webinar, I don't know. There is that part to it as well.
That's interesting also. And complicates understanding the place of Webinars Plus.
Unless you want to simplify it, because if you're just thinking of it as a webinar with Production Studio, then you're fine. And that's how I'd imagine a lot of people who are used to using meetings will think about it.
Why do you now that you've explained this, Ray, now I'm asking myself, why do we need this? I mean, if the only difference between this and Webinars Plus and events is the multi-day, multi-session events, why is this middle tier necessary?
Well, keep in mind, Webinars Plus is the middle tier, and there's a far jump from a plain old web portal generated webinar to a Zoom events multi-day, multi-session concurrent conference. Okay. And the fact that middle ground is hub-based, recordings-based, analytics sensitive, Production Studio available, all of the landing pages and all that sort of stuff. It's the difference between living in a little concrete house out in the edges of town and having a nice condo that, you can invite people in for Sunday brunch, or whatever. It's an uplift. What you can't really do is open a hotel, and that to me is sort of the Zoom events, multi-day, multi-session is, not just a place where you can invite people over and have a session. You can have a great big to-do like a conference. It's, the individual sessions are the same regardless of where they are in Webinars Plus or Zoom events.
Right, because they're just meetings or webinars. Yeah.
Production Studio and a variety of other tools.
Yeah. John's losing his mind. Go ahead, John.
Go, John.
Ray, I love this analogy. So Ray sold you the idea of a stay and a hotel. I'd like to take you to the next level, a timeshare, because there is actually a level above Zoom events, which we don't talk about much. And I've been working really hard with the product team to try and get more information so I can talk about it. And that is their CMS product, also known as their video management product, also known by lots of other names, but the ability to run an event in the wonderful ways that Ray has talked about and shared with us, but the recording stays on Zoom. And that is not the same as having a recording on Vimeo, YouTube, or another YouTube sharing site. The idea of having the recording on Zoom is you get all the interactivity, available within the Zoom platform, but in a recording. And that is the ultimate offering they have. And it probably needs a little bit more tweaking, but I'm starting to think that that is the most sexy place possible to keep your event after you run it.
As long as you're willing to pay Zoom's storage costs.
Well, you see, that's the mistake, David. With all due respect, you've made the mistake that they have to stop you thinking of. It's not a video storage place. It's a event recording, and you get all the interactivity of the live event when you watch the recording. You get the ability to comment. You get the ability to, I believe, because I haven't played with it all, but you're supposed to be able to have the ability to get the polls and get all the interaction that you would have had when it's live. So it's not a recording space. Yes, if you think of it that way, then it's a lot of money for nothing. There is so much more into it. And I think they've probably still got to add a few more killer features to really push people. But that's where I think life is going to go. I stand down to let Ray carry on.
As long as we're throwing out analogies here, one just came to mind. You have to think of the Zoom video cloud library where your stuff lives, like the theater. I can go down to my theater and I can't watch every movie they've ever had. I can watch the movies that they have playing now. And so what is kind of missing to me is sort of an automated management system of my videos. Here are videos that I recorded, and I recorded it as part of this particular event. It was a multi-day session with 40 sessions. And here are the recordings. I want to make it available to people for the next 6 months. And when you decide, I don't really need that interaction anymore through Zoom, by looking at the analytics, and the analytics have trailed off and nobody's really watching it anymore, what I need is the ability at that point is to say, push all of that over to Dropbox or my hard drive or some other place, or just get rid of it because I don't care anymore.
And that's what Zoom doesn't have yet, a way to
Correct.
move all your stuff off. So
we had that guy from Australia here, I don't know, a year or so ago that was looking at making something like that and decided that there was just no money in it. So
right. So Justin James actually wrote me, I don't even know what to call it, a script, an app or something, which was able to go back through all of my Zoom recordings and download all of them for me, which was amazing. But it was this weird bespoke, I don't even understand it. Until Zoom lets us export our stuff.
Well, you can download all of it. And you're using the term export. I have almost all of my recordings go over to Dropbox. What you don't get is, if you're using Recording Studio, those snippets from the individual takes don't get pushed over to Dropbox. There are the ISO audios that you can get anytime in a Zoom cloud recording. Those don't go over. So I get the vast majority of my stuff automatically synced up to Dropbox, and it has all of the stuff that I typically want to give to my video editor. And occasionally he'll go, the audio in this area is garbled because 3 or 4 people were talking. Can you grab me the ISO for David Paskin? And I'll grab that and drop it in. And
I was thinking, if you're not smart enough to turn all that stuff on when you start, or if that tool doesn't exist when you start and you have 5 years of recordings, there's no easy way to get those off other than one by one. That's the
I had to clean out a lot of stuff before my nursing conference started, because that was 5-hour sessions 6 times over 2 days. And in some cases concurrent sessions 4 wide. So
that'll eat it up. Absolutely.
A lot of storage.
I guess just going back to the Zoom events versus Zoom Webinar Plus, I think that it still seems to me that Zoom Webinar Plus, we've talked a lot about having a dumb switch or a simple switch. Seems to me that Zoom Webinars Plus is the simple version, as it were, of Zoom events, and that there really doesn't need to be a separate, there's just Zoom events, and then it exists right now. There's, do you want to do the simple setup? Do you want to do the complicated setup?
Right.
I don't know. It feels like it lives there. It belongs there. Look, there's no harm in having it separate. It's just
Right.
it's an interesting choice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Should we look at 7.1.5 for a few minutes? Hi, Tamara. How you doing?
Hello. I have a question.
Oh, yeah, all right.
It's
You go
kind of
first.
it's kind of attached to all of these things. That's why I hopped on. I was like on the road listening to y'all. Because my Webinar Plus and my Zoom business account is up at the end of July. So now I'm front of mind. I was looking at the best way to redo these. And I noticed that we can no longer do pay per attendee at 100. So now it's an outrageous amount, which doesn't make sense for me. I use webinar. I didn't even use my 100.
Yeah, Tamara.
So yeah.
One quick item.
Uh-huh.
Talk to me offline and I can solve your problem.
Okay. But for people who are also like me, the other option, I will talk to you though, because that may be the option that I want, would be to do my business account with a year of enhanced media, and then I would still have liminal apps, right?
Yeah. If all you need are the liminal apps,
That's
then
really
the
what I
enhanced nowadays the enhanced media is the way to go.
Okay. I used the webinar, but mostly it was like because I happened to have people. So I was like, hey, let's do a webinar. I'll teach you how to do this thing. So
the truth is the liminal stuff, meaning Zoom ISO, Zoom OSC, tiles, graphics, those living in Webinars Plus really didn't make a lot of sense.
Right.
I mean, they were just kind of stuck there. Having a bundle of the enhanced media with all those packages, that to me at least makes a lot of sense. And then you buy Webinars Plus if you need Webinars Plus, which is a different beast,
right.
a different monster.
I love Zoom Production Studios, but it often doesn't serve me because I use Obvio, so I don't really need Zoom events.
Right.
And so, okay, that's what I was wondering, because I was like, but I may reach out to you anyways, Ray, because I'm curious.
Yes, definitely reach out to Ray. Go ahead, Robert. Robert's speaking very quietly. Oh.
There's one not so obvious use case in Production Studio that we use. That's when we have a corporate account that is on MS Teams and they want a high production event, and we will push it out, produce it in Zoom with the speakers through Zoom Production Studio, and push it out through into Teams. So it's not an obvious thing to do, but since we do so many of these corporate events where you can't use anything except MS Teams, where you don't want to do the production in MS Teams, no one wants to do it, unless you have a live studio and you're pushing it through there from a live studio. We get the organizations to agree that the speakers at least will come in on Zoom. We'll do that in Zoom Production Studio and feed it into an MS Teams live production. The only thing is, because most of these organizations use a third-party tool for their Q&A, we can do that. If they use MS Teams for Q&A, then we have a bit of an issue because we don't have that feedback loop straight back into Zoom.
I've only had to use MS Teams as a participant, but are we too hard on MS Teams? Like, is it really that? Is it that bad?
It's terrible.
No,
it is.
We are
terrible.
not too hard.
Holy mackerel! Andy just woke up. Wow.
And so I use
so
it.
bad.
I use it like corporately. I'm forced to use it for things, one-on-one meetings and things like that. You cannot, absolutely not, do any production stuff in it. There is no equivalent to Zoom ISO. There is no equivalent to Companion. In fact, Teams had a integration with the Stream Deck that they took away.
So I can no longer even mute and unmute myself in Teams with my Stream Deck. So it's ridiculous. It's terrible. Sorry, you've got me fired up.
Okay, question answered. I love it.
Also, your audio gets screwy. So
Does it?
yeah, it's a pain. I hate everything about it.
It's
Okay,
also
then.
terribly invasive in your machine, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, I used to, like Andy, I used to have to use it because of who I worked for and had to use it. When I was retired and tried to get rid of it off of the machine, I damn near had to wipe my machine to get it out.
Because it gets its claws and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing about MS Teams is, and only if you use MS Teams a lot do you realize how bad their servers are. Zoom servers are really, really good. The quality that comes on, irrespective of how many people you have in a meeting or a webinar, is just in a completely different league. You can't even compare them with MS Teams. MS Teams, you get a couple of hundred people coming in, and the thing, it doesn't matter where you are, unless they've got it some special hosted product on site where they don't have any limitations, but it is terrible.
Yeah, I have not had a good experience myself either with Teams. And I think I'm not sure if I mentioned this on the show or not, but when I recently went to an event that was Teams related, even though I had MS Teams installed and it should go into the client, it decided instead to go to my browser, and I couldn't force it to go to the client no matter what I tried to do. And that just drove me nuts. It's like, so why do I have the client even installed? Go ahead, Ray.
Yeah, the other piece I'll have to add, maybe similar to a little bit into what Mike was saying, is the few Teams meetings that I've attended. You want to talk about maybe Zoom people who really don't know how to run their meetings. The Zoom Teams people don't have a clue 90% of the time. They don't really know, gosh, how do I get my screen share started? How do I mute people? They don't even understand. And I don't know. I certainly run into people in the Zoomiverse that haven't quite figured out how to do that. But in general, it's not that difficult. And I don't understand why, attorneys who are doing their own educational webinars and seminars for their HOA clients and so forth have to stumble and fumble through it and make it a horrible mess. I've offered to do it through Zoom for them and make it more professional, but never mind.
Just keep in mind that Microsoft Teams does have a product called Live Events, which they use a little bit like webinars, and they have all of they're like a stage where they'll send out an RTMP stream, and that RTMP stream is inputted into the Zoom meetings where you have all of your attendees. So it becomes a different experience. There are some production tools, but the challenge here is that find me someone who knows how to use that.
Well, and last time I tested the live events, Robert, in Teams, the delay was so terrible. Like I was testing it with somebody in my office, and I could literally walk from their cube where their camera is on back to mine, and I'd still see myself on camera. Like the delay was just terrible. It makes it hard for like interacting and feedback and things like Q&A and things like that.
Absolutely, because they send it out RTMP and then they bring it back in, they feed it RTMP back into the Teams meeting. So it's an add-on. It's not a solution like Zoom has with webinars.
I just want to say that the quietest member of the Zoom test kitchen, Roland Booth, screamed at me in chat, Teams, no! So a message received from every corner. Let's celebrate Zoom's upcoming release, not Teams. 7.1.5 is on the horizon. It is supposed to come to us on Monday. There's some good stuff in here, I think. sort of it starts with some general features, which are not terribly exciting, but quick access to My Notes on iOS. Actually, I take that back. That actually is a good thing. Um, outside the Zoom Workplace mobile app, you can start recording immediately using a new home screen widget or control center control. That's actually really nice. Live activity system microphone indicator will confirm your recording is active. You can use Shlomo to start a note. So that's nice. A little fix to the marketplace tab. And then we've got some meetings features. So the enhanced voice translator includes a translate my voice capability that, when enabled, allows participants to project that. By the way, Zoom, there's a typo. You're missing the word "to." Allows participants to project their translated speech back to other participants in the meeting. Listeners do not need the voice translator add-on to hear this translated speech.
That's an interesting one.
So wait a second. So voice translator, that's an add-on, right?
Yeah, that is an add-on. And the way it works is that the participants have to select the language channel that they want to listen to.
So wait, translated captions. I'm looking for I want to find the add-on.
Translated captions is a paid feature, but I don't know that voice.
Yeah, I think maybe this is not paid. I've lost my thing. Sorry. Here it is. Maybe. So voice. Okay, you know what? Hold off on support projection. Let's go to the next one, and then we'll come back. So voice translator, users can translate spoken language in real time during a Zoom meeting session using the voice translator feature. The feature integrates with existing AI-powered translated captions technology and provides automated text-to-speech services in multiple languages. Translation quality may vary. Okay. By selecting interpreter personas. Oh, okay. It's using text-to-speech. So it is translating the transcript to text and then speaking the translated text that it has done. Voice translator requires the live translation add-on or ZoomMate credits. There we go. The live translation add-on.
Yeah, that's a live translation add-on. But initially they'd put it out and made it available in beta and said that it's for testing. It's in beta.
Right. I just don't see the live translation add-on. That's, I guess, what I'm curious about. Oh, maybe it's no. Add-ons to workplace. It's interesting. I'm just not sure where that.
I don't know why you can't see it because I have it.
Oh, you do? Voice translator. I wonder if it's under ZoomMate. Nope. Chat file schedule Eclipse. Add-ons to ZoomMate. No, just the credit pack. Okay. Well, I'm not sure then. So if you have the live translation add-on or ZoomMate credits, you can use voice translator. But the enhanced voice translator includes a translate my voice, which means that listeners don't need the voice translator add-on to hear this translated speech. So does that mean that I would purchase this? Maybe I would purchase live translation and then use translate my voice to send that out to people, and they wouldn't have to pay anything.
Yeah, you would speak in English and they would hear Spanish generated from your machine.
Why would they do this? Why would Zoom do this? It seems to me that anyone who cares about their participants would do this so that the participants don't have to pay for live translation.
There are actually people who have asked for this. This is something that's been asked for quite a long time. And the complaint has been that when you have the simultaneous interpretation, people have to come in, get instructions if they don't know, and how to choose the channel. And what people were asking for was this translation, the live translation, to come directly into the home feed. So it's something that's been requested for. To answer your question, why would Zoom do this? Is it good? I don't know. I'm sure there are a lot of communities where they're very closed communities, and they bring in someone from the outside on I don't know what, on some sort of visit, and he wants to speak with them. What I don't understand is, what does he hear when people speak back to him?
Right.
Because they'll speak back to him in a language that he won't understand.
Right. Unless they have translate my voice, it wouldn't be two-way. Yeah. Well, we won't be able to test it next week. We'll be able to look at it on the 27th. After the 27th, there's a backend server update that this requires.
Mm-hmm.
This will be really interesting to play with and to see how this actually works.
I think it would be freaking scary. Can you imagine, David, if you start speaking in a language that no one here understands, and you're telling us to do something, and we're telling you we don't understand?
Then I turn on translate my voice, and then you can all understand me. Right?
How do you know what language we speak?
But it doesn't, that's the point. It doesn't matter. I think that's the point, is that I can speak, and unless I'm wrong.
We're looking at two different products here, David. One product is you speak in the language that you're speaking, and we choose one of those 7 languages that are already available to listen to you in.
Okay, that's the other one down here.
The other product is you speak and you say, translate what I'm saying for everyone into this language.
Into a different, okay. So the translate my voice is, I'm a Spanish speaker doing a presentation to an American audience, and so translate my voice into English.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you for clarifying that.
That's the way I understand it. I haven't seen it, I haven't played with it, but that's the way I understand it.
Right. Okay. Well, that may certainly make sense. So if it's a one person, one language, you use the translate my voice. If it's many people needing perhaps many languages, you use voice translator. Go ahead, Ray. Sorry.
I guess I'm kind of wondering, sometimes I think like way down in the weeds. You're going to speak English, and you know that the vast majority of the people in your audience are going to understand and speak Spanish. And there's going to be a couple of people who speak, I don't know, Portuguese maybe, which is, I don't know languages well enough to know how close is Portuguese to Spanish or whatever. But someone then wants to read the translated captions in Portuguese. Will translated captions take your Spanish speech and translate into Portuguese for them? Is that option still available to someone if they want to?
Yeah, will it translate the English you're speaking, or will it translate the Spanish that it's
my guess is, if I can just throw my 5 cents in here, is that it's creating a transcript of what you're saying, translating that transcript into the language that you've selected, and it's something is speaking that language out. But for me to listen to you using the AI tool in a second or third language, it's translating the transcript once again into that third language and speaking it out again. So it's always coming from the original transcript that you are providing in the language that you are speaking, that's being translated first, and then
and I'm actually talking, Robert, about not even using that other tool that will translate multiple audio languages, but I'm thinking if you've got 300 people and 2 of them are Portuguese, and they go, oh look, I use translated captions all the time, I would just like to see the captions in Portuguese. is it translating from the English or is it translating from the Spanish that's coming in? And what are the differences? That would be a really nice test
the
case.
captions will always be translated from the source language. So the initial source language that is provided or is being spoken in, and they'll translate from that. They won't do captions because you lose a certain amount when what you call relay or translate from a translated language.
And here's the other minor thing, and that is what comes across in the Zoom cloud recording. Which audio do you actually get, or do you get both audios? Do you get the original audio and the translated audio? That would be a neat trick.
That's a good question.
That's a really that would be a very neat trick. I'm also
Because
curious.
if you could get both, you could actually publish both a Spanish language and an English language over to YouTube. And
right. I'm also very curious about the quality of the trend, and not of the translation, but of the vocal quality. I have found recent with ChatGPT's new ChatGPT Live, or Voice Live, whatever they call it, that it's the two-way translation, the interpretation feature is pretty exceptional. As far as just the way it sounds, it kind of tries to pick up on tone and things like that. That to me will be just as important as is the translation good for this because listening to, remember, people are going to be hearing this voice in their ear. This is what they're going to hear, and if it's robotic, if it's not expressive, I think that not going to be great.
Well, we use some 11 labs, and that is my assessment superior to what ChatGPT has. And what we found is that if you're doing a text to speech, and this is what's happening over here, it's really difficult for the intonation and the expression to come through in a non-standard way. So if you've got a language where the things are going through in a more or less predictable way, but if I suddenly said to you, "Oh, David, don't do that," the text will be, "David, don't do that," and it won't be able to catch that emotion that's coming through.
I didn't think you're absolutely right. What the one that I use with ChatGPT isn't working from a transcript, at least as I understand it. It's hearing me speak and interpreting what it hears rather than, or maybe it's not doing this. I don't know. It seems like that's what it's doing, but you're saying no. It's transcribing my speech and translating the transcription.
That's the way those engines work at the moment.
Oh, really?
I haven't come across anything that does it directly other than humans.
So that's fascinating. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Wow.
I was telling you about Synthesia because we've been looking at Synthesia in terms of localization products. And Synthesia now has a new product they just introduced yesterday, which is an upgrade to their previous dubbing product. For those who don't know, Synthesia is an avatar that will speak to you, will smile to you. You can make your own avatar. You can reproduce yourself. You can use some preloads, prefixes. So they were showing yesterday an upgrade to their dubbing product, which when it dubs into a second language, one of the challenges that we always have is that I'll use Polish and English. English is about 30% longer than Polish when you speak it. So if you're dubbing something using a machine, and it's trying to lip sync, it gets confused at one point because you've run out of time in which you could say that thing that you were meant to say. So they've come up with an option that they have. You have a button there, or you can switch on or off, is to catch up in time or not catch up in time. And the catch up in time actually speeds the talking so it fits into this time space. And you don't hear it in the audio that's being generated, but you hear it in any background music that's playing in the event, because it speeds that up as well. So that's when it comes through as something's wrong. So, but it's getting really good, and I've been looking at it because when we initially asked people, and I think we're going to see this in Zoom as well. How is it? How do you like it? Can you listen to it? If people are listening to training, just straight training, that there has a product, someone's introducing a product, talking about that product, and that person always does it. It can be in any language, and people will trust the person and just listen to it in the language that is being used. However, if the CEO comes on, or a head of department, and he's giving an important message, and he gives it in a language that you know isn't his, people don't trust it. There's a trust element that breaks the usage of these tools down, or downgrades the value of them when it comes to certain type of material. So for training material, for teaching, for things that are at a level where you have to understand, and that's it works. But when you have to have the trust in the person that's saying that, and he's telling you, giving you a vision, it's just not working. It's not there. Not to mention the few funny stories where a guy who had been doing all of these automatic translated presentations and training went over to the country that he was from, or he was making these training programs for, and they met up with him and they started speaking to him in that language, and he says, I don't understand what you're saying, I don't speak the language. And there was this moment of, you mentioned this earlier on, David, there's something wrong here, something's broken.
Fascinating. Frank, how you doing?
Yes, sir. I'm good. I thought dubbing was when you made someone a knight.
Wait, hold on.
I prefer the term localization, but that has some context to it as well.
Wait, I can't find it. I found it. Boom, boom. I don't think anyone heard it because I don't have original sound on, but yeah. Owen Hasmick's here. Hey, Hasmick. How you doing? Okay. Let's see if there's anything else coming up. Smart name tags. Oh, wait, I didn't do this. Sorry. Smart name tag. Enhancements to speaker name tag display in stream tiles. In a meeting, the names of people identified in a Zoom room appear directly on the room's video tile with a clear distinction between the room name and the participant name. Okay. But I don't know why this is under meetings features, but okay. Previously, these names were tucked behind the name tag icon. Okay. Enhanced media. When enabled, screen sharing can use a higher bit rate, up to 12 megabytes. Is that megabytes? Megabits?
Megabit per second.
Thank you.
A little B for bit and a big B for byte, because a byte is bigger than a bit.
Well, thank you. There you go. Byte is bigger than a bit. To keep detailed content clear while the screen sharing is in motion. Okay. Preserves fine detail in text, code, design work. Great. The higher bitrate increases when the content needs it and lowers automatically on limited connections. High bitrate for screen sharing is available to the hosts and participants with an enhanced media license. There you go. And now there's also enhancements to screen share resolution on Mac. When sharing an application window with 60 FPS content sharing on a Mac running 26 or later, the window is captured at native resolution, giving viewers sharper application windows that preserve fine detail even when scaled. I wonder what it was before. I don't know. And another one for us enhanced media folks, 60 frames per second content sharing when sharing a single application window. This allows, again, typo Zoom, users to share motion-heavy content from one app, such as an app or emulator window, at a higher frame rate without sharing your whole screen. Previously, this option was only available when sharing an entire screen or video file. Okay, that makes sense. So you're getting higher frames per second for different things on a Mac. When you're just sharing a single application window.
Yeah, and that's different when it comes to on Windows, David, because of the fact of us having specific, like Windows treats everything as an application, unless it's those other features.
So
Like if you do an entire screen, that's obviously it's entire screen. The video file is a video file, but if you just share an application window, that's again different in Windows world.
Because Mac is better? No?
Different.
Is that not what you were saying?
Different.
Oh, different. Okay, different.
It's
Good.
different.
Different. We got some phone features, real-time transcription and note capture during phone calls. Wow.
Did you not know this, David?
No, I don't use phone.
Oh.
But now you can get either desktop or mobile real-time speaker attributed captions directly within the call interface. When the call ends, a full transcript with speaker labels and timestamps is automatically saved to your notes hub. Wow. That's, I don't know if this is new, but this is, I mean, it says it's new, but.
You used to be able to get a transcription, but it was just words that were spoken.
Right.
And now they are attributed as to who, which end of the line.
It's, it's parity with the meeting experience.
Yes.
It's a very nice feature.
And the other part in that, David, is that these My Notes goes into that AI document, publication thing where Canvas and all those things live. And so when you go into your hub and you go into, if you've got a ZoomMate subscription or using sort of the free credits, you can ask, which phone calls did I have yesterday that referenced, trees fell down in my neighborhood or whatever. And you'll go get them.
I mean, think about if you're doing customer service phone calls, to have all that data and to be able to search and be able to create data out of spoken comments that people have made.
Well, call center already does all of this. So if you've got the call center license, this is nothing new to you. When you go to, I'm going to connect you with the level 2 tier support now. Give me just a moment. When tier 2 tier support, tech support gets the thing, they get an AI generated summary of everything that was already said in a couple of sentences. So they don't have to go, hi, I don't have a clue what your problem is. Can you start from square one? Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. That makes sense. Zoom phone users with online fax enabled can send fax content directly within email bodies. Okay. That's nice. For those of us who don't have fax machines anymore, every once in a while, I have to buy a subscription, one-off subscription of one of those email fax services.
To send or to receive, David?
Say again?
To send a fax or to receive a fax?
Which one is it? You have to pay for one of them. I don't remember. One of the, I think sending is free because you don't need a phone number. And I think receiving, when you have to get a phone number, I think that's when they charge you. It's not a lot. It's like $5 or something, or $15, but it's super convenient to be able to receive faxes by email. If I had a need for that, I would do that all the time.
And, all right. And with Zoom Phone, it's built right in. When you get a fax, Zoom recognizes that it's a fax call and just drops that right in your workplace.
Yep. So this doesn't look like a huge release. There's some nice stuff for enhanced media. We're getting a few things. And it seems like the two highlights here are enhanced media and translation. Those are kind of the two things that I'm seeing here, at least. And then notes on mobile.
And the phone transcripts. Can you imagine? There's certain people when I speak to on the phone that I'd probably give a special number for the Zoom phone call just to get the transcript.
Yeah. And just as a reminder, the translate my voice feature will take an additional week to come out. So we should get the voice translator available. And I want to find where you purchased this, the live translation add-on. That's it's the one piece I haven't been able to figure out yet.
And of course,
It
as
probably
we
won't
usually
show
say,
up until the beta period's over.
Right.
yeah. And of course, David, we also say all the time, and Zoom wants us to say all the time too, that you should be talking to your sales rep and not necessarily relying on ordering everything through the website.
And if you don't know who your sales rep is, just message support.
Right. At the email
Actually,
information that we did last week. Go, Ray.
The latest information is if you will send an email to the customer success team, I forget exactly what that email address is, and tell them that you are interested in something, they can tell you who your assigned account executive is. There's a variety of ways to contact sales. And my experience and people that I've talked to, their experience with sort of sending the blind thing into sales is eventually they might get a call, but it takes a while. And I have always, since having my Zoom events license back in October of 21, have always kept a team chat or a Zoom chat relationship with my account exec, even if only, hey, my renewal's coming up next month. Is there anything I should know? Each of these account execs, for those of us that are pro and small business size of accounts, you've got an account exec that has hundreds or maybe thousands of people assigned to them. And my experience is when you reach out to them with professionalism and care, they are so happy that somebody real comes to them and really needs their help that they are always willing to help you out. Make the relationship connection, and they. I had one guy who's like, "I'm sorry, but I'm no longer your account exec. This other guy is your account exec. It's been really nice chatting with you. Thank you very much, and he will take good care of you." So build the relationship.
I can confirm what Ray's talking about too. They've done that for our company as well.
So I'm looking for what you suggested. Zoom.
I think it's customer success advisor with a hyphen in between, but
I put that in chat, and I've also put in YouTube chat.
Oh, look at it's one generic email. Okay. Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
That's great. I'm going to email them right now because I don't know who my person is.
And that was courtesy of Mr. Harwood last week.
Ray, thank you. Appreciate that. All right. I'm going to email my account rep. Now, I wonder what information you have to give them. Hi there.
Well, assuming that you are emailing them from your account email address, but I would put in there, I am the owner of the, whatever account you're referring to. I would typically put in my account number, which is on your profile page as well, and go, I'm just interested in contacting my account exec for a couple of additional purchases. And
right.
They should enlighten you.
Your account number is also at the top of the contact Zoom support page.
Oh.
Account. Okay. Account number. Boom. Can you tell me who my account rep is, please? Okay.
Say account exec.
I said
that's their
account rep.
technical term, but that's okay. They'll figure it out.
I should have known that.
Yeah, officially they use the terminology AE. And if
Account
you're
account executive.
account executive, yeah. And
Yeah.
yeah, and then if you actually have your own customer support person that designated to your account, then you have a CSE, customer support executive. Those came
There
up
you go.
in
Probably who
developer.
probably has a couple of TAMs working for him. So
Right.
technical account managers.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, it just depends on your level of money to Zoom.
Money. All righty. What else do we have? What else is happening
David,
today?
if I can hop in for just a moment with something, something that I've been working on for probably months is I've always wanted to create sort of a Zoom information newsletter of some sort. And one of the things that I've always wanted to do in there is to have a release notes review, and the ability to sort of manage for me what's changed. And I've talked about this multiple times, what's changed and that sort of thing. And so I've never really had a way to do that. And so the whole newsletter thing is like, oh man, if I can't do that. Well, a week or two ago, I found a tool called distill.io that I got 2 alerts this morning that these 2 things have changed, and here's exactly what has changed. And so I've begun the execution of a plan to basically create the Zoom Navigator newsletter that I'm going to put out on LinkedIn to start with, as a LinkedIn newsletter. I'm also going to put it on Substack and Medium, and there'll be a couple of editions each month. My goal is to have, by the end of the month or within the first couple of days of the next month, that release notes review, and that will include, workplace, all of the productivity tools, meetings, webinars, and events, and sort of my view of what's important and what's good to know, and some caveats in there about things that I don't cover, like integration and some of those things. And then mid-month, I plan to have a little bit more full-bodied version of some deep dives into things that, we've already talked about today. Why doesn't Zoom try and make these sorts of topics more widely educated, among the Zoom users? And so this is not really intended necessarily, but it could be useful to people who all they do is attend meetings. But if you are using any of the Zoom productivity tools or the Zoom AI or webinars or events, this ought to be something that hopefully will be of help to you.
This is very cool. I'm looking forward to this. I know that you
Yeah.
had created a tool that compared release notes one to the other.
Well, I was doing it manually. I was copying and
Oh, you
pasting into
were.
Word and using the word differences. And I have to say, this tool, it's $15 a month, and you only get 5 documents. That's if you let them do it in the cloud. But if you then install the Word or the Mac app, you can do 50 documents on your machine. And if you do it in the cloud, they'll only check it every 6 hours. And if you do it on your machine, you can have it check every 5 minutes if you want. I have it set to check every hour. And I've got, a long list of, 15 or 18 documents. And every hour it checks and it goes, up, nothing here. Every hour it checks, up, nothing here. Oh, look, these 3 documents changed. And I actually get an alert on my phone when it finds things that have changed. And of course, for Zoom events and Zoom Workplace, I'm diving right over into it, taking a look.
You win. If you hadn't won already, you win for the geekiest Zoom god. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I love that. And this tool is cool too, distill.io. This is very cool.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Very
It takes a
nice.
little getting used to it. And I've already written in, I think the tool only came out last year. They've got a fairly good, feels like a close knit forum group. And I actually had a couple of feature requests that I put in there. And I actually got one of the tech support people, emailed me and said, gosh, thank you for these. If we, are able to implement this one, which we think will be pretty easy, it'll be a big benefit to our users. And the other one might take us a little bit longer, but it's definitely something we think will work. So yeah, pretty cool.
That's great. Very cool. Looking forward to that. Will you post in Discord when that's available?
I will try and make it sort of far and wide. I do have a YouTube channel, Zoom Navigator, and there's nothing there yet. But my goal is to eventually be able to put out some really shorts of how to use certain features in the tool, and I'll refer to those in the individual episodes as well. The other thing that I'm doing, and I've already got the release notes kind of built for all of the release notes that are out already, and I'm still, as they come out, I'm putting them in the section. There'll be a link right there that if you want to go read the release notes, you can click the link right there. What I think a lot of people who go, I would read the release notes, but it's a lot of pain for me to have to go on the website and find it and that sort of thing. And I don't have a thing. And you should see my Stream Deck. I've got one page that has a button for each of the release notes I follow. I can just hit Zoom events and it pops right on up. But having it available there, I think, will encourage more people to actually follow the release notes, even if they only read my synopsis first over in the Zoom Navigator.
That is awesome. That's great.
And the Zoom Navigator, I have to add real quickly. I think I've said this on here a couple of times before. In my early days, I was a B-52 navigator. So the whole navigator theme sort of still holds out for me. My goal here is to provide guidance for everybody.
My father-in-law was a B-52 tail gunner.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah.
Amazing. All right. What else do we have today? I think those are pretty much all the release notes. Frank, anything exciting up by you? Or Hasmuk? No, nothing. Bye, Tamara. Mike, how you doing?
Dave, everybody's being quiet today. I don't understand the
I
quietness.
know.
Are they all in shock? I don't know. I don't know what to say. Are they all shocked because of the fact that there isn't anything hard? So this will be 7.1.5, correct? That will come in
Yep.
Monday?
Yep.
All right. Cool.
Anything exciting happening on your shows this week? Do you do them every week?
We are live Tuesdays and Fridays every week.
Okay.
Tuesday was a big day for us. Again, we've already talked a little bit about it. We did a deep dive into production studio. So we spent 2 full hours in that, and Mr. Paskin was supposed to come visit us, but unfortunately he had other plans.
I couldn't. I'm sorry.
I know. But yeah, definitely. Yeah, we did a deep dive. Again, I was running production studio, and we're also showing production studio. We also had Josh from the Zoom Events team, as well as Mike from the Zoom Events team.
Oh, that's great.
Live.
Oh, I'm sorry I missed that. It's fantastic.
Available for all those people on YouTube at Boom with Lord Zoom YouTube channel.
YouTube. I'm using a new browser, and so it's taking me longer to get to everything because nothing is saved.
So you're not Safari? Boom.
No, I've never been Safari.
Oh, okay, good. All
No,
right.
you know what? I just switched. I just switched back to Google Chrome.
Okay.
Because I just updated this machine to the beta, the Mac OS beta, public beta, and it wasn't playing well with. I was using Dia before, and so now I'm in Chrome. I turn on the vertical tabs, and I have the ChatGPT sidebar in, and I think I found my new. I think I'm in love again.
Cool.
So
Lord Zoom, would you like to help him go to your YouTube channel?
I got it. I don't need any help. I can find Lord the Boom of the Zoom loom. So let's see. We got production upgrades, green screen. That was 3 hours ago.
Yes, it was.
And the deep dive. Here we go. Zoom production studio right there. Dear Lord, this is like a show on the Twit network. 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
Man alive. And there's Josh. Very nice. And that guy looks
Yeah,
familiar.
there was also another person on there too. Yeah, you know that guy.
Yeah, I know him.
He might be navigating us through Zoom. There
Now,
go,
are
Greg.
you? No, wait.
Here's that.
Did you do this? Wait, where is it? Where's
Did
the
I
two
do-
up? No, I just saw a 2 up.
All right, sure.
So this is not using production studio?
That's production studio. Yes.
It is good. Okay, where's that? There it is. This 2 up.
Production
So this
studio.
is all run through production studio.
Yep.
That's great. That's great. There's another 2 up.
Yeah. There's Mike from the Zoom, brand new dude that has joined the Zoom events. Has come back to the Zoom events team.
So it looks like there are a
that's-
few different scenes here. There's
Yeah.
Oh.
There's Mr. Drinkwater doing a demo within the
right.
actual GUI
So
interface.
there's this scene. There's this scene.
Yeah.
There's a single scene with the blue around it,
Yeah.
like this one.
Yeah.
Nice. And then there's oh wait,
Oh, did you see another one? Yeah.
there we
There's
go.
that one.
Nice.
That one.
I mean,
Yeah.
it looks it when you watch it like this, it looks really professional. I would like to be able to. This is me just being picky, but I would love to be able to size these boxes over here so that they align with the top here of the large box. You know what I mean?
If you probably made those square, they probably would come closer to aligning the top.
Yeah.
You can actually.
I didn't know you
that's
could
again-
make.
that's-
Oh, you
that's
can
again-
change not aspect ratio. The aspect
can-
ratio?
Yeah.
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 You can crop and change the aspect ratio.
Ah, that's nice. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Right.
It just so happens that those are all 16:9 that John used there.
Gotcha,
We're all
gotcha.
three.
Yep. That's great. Cool.
But if you take a look at our production studio one, when John and I were on today, those were not actually our 16:9 beside each other. They're actually, Johnny, I don't know which resolution that one was. Do you remember? Are you 5:4 with that one? When you're
Probably
switching us
5:4.
both in? Yeah. So again,
Yeah, I'm scrolling through to find a 2 up here. It's a lot of John making funny faces and stuff. And
and using the ATEM from another PC to actually do his slides.
dear
not
Lord.
actually
Oh, there it
doing
is. There it is. Come on. There we go. Yeah, there you go. Okay. So that's more square. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Now you're not
so
you're
you can-
using the regular
It crops.
Yeah. You're using the regular you're not using
Titling.
the fancy title things.
We did on Tuesday, but again, I can enable and disable that on the fly if I want to.
So you're running this in the background, Mike?
Yeah, and
You're
on the
doing the
show.
switching in the background. Gotcha.
Yeah.
And are you we don't have Stream Deck yet for this. So you're just clicking around with the key. I mean, you're a mouse guy anyway. Even in
Yeah.
Zoom, you're a mouse guy, right?
Yeah. Like when I'm doing spotlighting for you or unspotlighting
Yeah.
stuff and adding people, it's all mouse related stuff. Yep. Yeah,
All right,
I'm not a
cool.
Zoom OSC at all.
Very nice. Tony asked a question a while back, but
Did
but
he? Chat?
yeah, it was over an hour ago, almost 2 hours ago. So I apologize. No, not 2 hours ago, an hour ago. He was asking this was, I think, back when we were talking about Webinar Plus and Webinar. It's actually the best option for a small house of worship with a limited budget. I think the best option for a small house of worship with a limited budget is a meeting.
Right.
And
But take
use
it-
and use the tools that you have. If you need to lock it down with your admin tools, lock it down with focus mode. If budget is your concern, use a meeting. It's reliable, it's sturdy, it's going to get the job done, and you don't need the complexity that can come with, or the cost that can come with some of the other stuff.
Right.
I would agree, since most of the stuff I do is volunteer on my nickel, right? So it's the same thing. Cost is important.
Yep, absolutely.
I would suggest webinar.
Say again?
I would suggest webinar.
Well,
you would.
Yeah.
But
You don't want to risk a Zoom bomber on a house of worship.
No, you don't. But I mean, if you have a person who can monitor the waiting room and you lock it down correctly, I just,
with all due respect, my experience of people who are looking after these meetings is they just fall apart and they never use the right tools to save themselves when it happens.
Yeah.
It's only one key press or one mouse click, shall we say, the host tools, but they never do it.
I'm just saying if cost is your main concern, then you're going to have to put energy in. You have to balance. If you can't afford webinar, which is a safer experience, then you're going to have to put the people power and the thought hours into doing it right.
Yeah.
Because you're right.
Yeah. And again, it's just how if you want to use up volunteer time and such like that, instead of paying the little extra money to go to a webinar plus, then absolutely. So if you want to be able to have all the security and everything else right at the very, very beginning where you're in full control, then obviously John and I are always going to promote Webinar Plus, because that is the true environment of a normal church environment, right? The pastor and such are at the front and everybody's sitting in the pews waiting for you. This is a stage scenario, right? So that is a webinar environment. That's not a meeting.
Yes. And you're right. I think typically that first of all, I can only speak from a temple and synagogue perspective, but I think they're in many ways the same. Yes, a frontal experience has traditionally been what houses of worship offer. I would suggest that one of the things that Zoom allowed us to do during the pandemic was really rethink what we're offering. It gave us the opportunity to because now all of a sudden my box as the rabbi or the priest is the same size as everyone else's. Like, I'm not up on the stage anymore on the dais. We are all Zoom is the great equalizer, I think, in many ways. And I mean, yes, I could still mute everyone and stuff, but the point is that I think it really opened my eyes to how to create a more equitable experience, which in many ways webinar sort of fights against. So it's a fascinating conversation though, between the two styles.
Yeah. And again, too, I've had it with all I've had the conversation with all the churches that I work with up here in Canada as well. And again, it comes down to, they will say to me, but Mike, when everybody comes in, they always have their microphones on, and then I can hear kids screaming in the background, and I'm going, because you're using meeting, and in webinar that wouldn't happen.
But in meeting, but I'm going to push back. Roland just put in the chat, use focus mode, turn off rename, auto mute on entry, turn off the ability to unmute. I mean, it's yes, you have to have a little knowledge, but I'm sorry. Yeah. Yes.
It's what I do. It's what I do all the time.
I mean, that's what it is, right? If you can either pay for a webinar, which is sort of shut down by default, or you could just do it yourself. And thank you, Zoom, for giving us both options. So yes, I mean, you're absolutely right. I agree with that, Mike. But it's not that it's not undoable.
Sure.
Again, I think we started out early, kind of bashing on Zoom a little bit, and we
Oh,
love to
not at
bash
all.
on
No,
Zoom,
no,
but we
no.
do it in a friendly manner. That I don't see a resource out on the Zoomiverse. You know, there's a whole healthcare group. If you're in healthcare, here's where you go to do healthcare stuff. If you're a government organization, here's a complete site with all the stuff that's very special for that. Where is the one pager that says, if you're a small house of worship, here's what we recommend that you do? You know, if you are an AA meeting, here is the type of things that we, you know, suggest that you would do. I don't see those level of what I might call caring resources to like help people. You know, I just got a Zoom account inherited from the other guy because he went off some other place and now I've got to do it. What do I need to do? And you got to find Peter or me or John or Mike or David or somebody to come and you know, we should provide some resources and, you know,
That would be a
Zoom.
great thing for Zoom to have a, you know, hey, are you a house of worship? Click here. Hey, are you a school? Click here. I mean, they can't do everything, but it's a nice idea. So, hey, Mike, guess what it's time for?
Is it? Let me see if it works.
TikTok.
It worked.
Yeah, but we need a sound effect. You need a sound effect with that.
Effect. Oh,
something.
Sound effects.
Or just like, I mean, you just go.
David, you can't get your sound effects working from the road.
You hear any of those? No? I'm pressing every sound effect I have. Great. Now they won't shut up. Okay. Hold on. Well, now, don't challenge me because I know how to turn on original audio. So, you know. Okay. That was fun. And over to you.
And over to me. And if you have any questions, let us know on YouTube and we will do our best to answer them without Mr. Paskin, but he'll come back. I promise. Okay. So let us know in YouTube chat if there's any further questions, any comments about 7.1.5 coming up on Monday. Are you prepared? Are you going to upgrade? Are you not going to upgrade? That would be usually my question to Robert. Are you going to upgrade or not upgrade? But Robert left us earlier, so that's where that comes into play. But let us know in chat. Are you upgrading? Do you need to upgrade? Were any of those features worth upgrading? Let us know. Asmuth, you've been awful quiet. Are you going to ever talk to us today? He's thinking about it. He's not sure. Oh, no, he's being quiet today. He's listening and he's busy and he's doing all
has
kinds
his awake avatar on.
That's right.
And he's sleeping in the background.
That could be true. That could be very true. It could be very true. Excellent. All right. And everybody's quiet with me again. Go ahead. So yeah. So just to put it, you know, yes, meetings can be made into look like a webinar. Absolutely. But again, is a webinar product. Again, you saw when David was showing some of the clips of what we do every week on Tuesdays and Fridays, Learn Zoo Live and Production Professionals Power Hour. I wouldn't be able to do half of that stuff without Production Studio. So we are at least running Webinar Plus, even though we don't have many people joining us live on the webinar itself. The majority of the people are on YouTube. We're still taking advantage of the Production Studio software in that regard. So, and it's a lot of fun doing that too. Ray was on Tuesday. I made it easy for Ray when he was talking. I made it easy when John's talking all the time, to make sure that, you know, when they're ready to talk, that they're, you know, they're shown properly. And again, everything, depending on your skill level when it comes to video switching will depend on if you understand Production Studio's layout, because it is scene based. So if you're very into like an OBS scene, then it's not much different than that. You just can't customize as granular as you can in like an OBS or a vMix or an Ecamm Live, insert here, Mimo Live, et cetera, et cetera. So it's more of, these are what you can get per scene, and make that scene ahead of time. And then you choose that scene, and then you can fill in the boxes, basically, for layman terminology.
Mike, I'll, I've always got 2 cents to offer.
Of course.
I think the professionals have a harder time with Production Studio than the inexperienced people, because they're looking at where are all the buttons and where are all the screens and where, I mean, if you're accustomed to a big setup, kind of dumbing down to Production Studio is a big step, perhaps. I mean, if you have been an Ecamm or vMix user before and used smaller tools, you're probably okay with it. But if you've been big production and now I have to work with this, whereas for the people who have never really done anything, it's like, oh, someone has set up my scenes for me, and all I have to do is move people into the boxes and click send to live and make sure that they're unmuted. And yeah, I mean, it's a little more than that, but that's the start. That's the, get in the car and drive it out of the driveway first. And next week we'll take it around the block.
Yeah, exactly. And Ray, you're right. It is that, and again, a lot of our community here on Lord Zoom Live and also Zoom Test Kitchen, of course, will tell us that, oh, there's not enough there for me. And that's the people that are in the world of vMixes or Ecams or Mimos or Wirecasts and such. And that's where they go with that type of stuff. Come on in here, Lord Zoom.
So I've put a few feature requests in to open this up, but I will return to my traditional hobby horse around Production Studio. We have to get this code that allows all these big third-party products to work within the Production Studio setting. So Ray, I agree totally. If you're using vMix, if you're using VizRT, if you're using any of these big production pieces of software, you shouldn't be downgrading into Production Studio. You should be working alongside Production Studio. And until I can get this blasted code out and make them all use it, that's not happening. And that's what needs to happen. And then if they don't do it, I mean, you go off onto your own app and then you lose the chat, you lose this, you lose all the interaction features. You need them to be part of Production Studio so all those interaction features stay there. But we'll see. We'll see. I'll just keep making a noise until it happens.
I think it will, one way or the other.
I'm sure it will. I'm sure it will. And thank you very much for this Zoom Test Kitchen, because I've been trying to think of what I want to do for my Lord Zoom Lives over the summer. And you've been giving me lots of ideas. So I've just been filling in all the weeks with all the things we're going to do.
Yeah, because again, on Lord Zoom Live, what John and I do is we purposely go topic based. We don't open it as wide as it is here on Zoom Test Kitchen, where we will answer any of your specific. Yeah. This is the Ask Me Anything show, where John and I do on Lord Zoom Live is ask us anything about the topic of the show, and that's where we stay in that lane.
So I've booked in a screen sharing complete guide show. I've booked in a House of Worship complete guide show. So just keep throwing in the ideas, guys. This is great, because sometimes you don't get all the ideas off the community forums, which is,
Here's another one for you, John. Another couple of things that I have answered people in the Zoom community. My aunt passed away last week, and we're doing the funeral for her next Wednesday. How do I do that over Zoom?
That's a good one.
So you want a Zoom funeral special?
Yeah. It's different than church. It's similar to church, John, but
Similar
it's
to
different
church, but different. Right, right.
because it's not only is it church portion, but there may be a cemetery portion as well.
It's interesting. There is actually a church here in the Phoenix area that has a space that they use primarily for funerals and those sorts of things. And they actually have a stationary camera up on the back end of the church that basically captures the entire front end. And they basically have a guy that hits a button and it live streams to YouTube. And I've watched a couple of them. A neighbor across the street, one of their relatives passed away, and she said, "Oh, we got to watch the YouTube of it as well. We were there, but then we got to watch the YouTube, and it's really, really great." Yeah, there's no end to the possibilities, that's for sure.
Yep. There are different modifications of it, but yeah. So basically so what Ray's talking about is a funeral type scenario. So that this would be equivalent to, not only would this be useful for churches and cemeteries, but it's also popular as well for funeral home people as well, because it depends on where the service is. If the service is going to maintain within this funeral home, and then there's going to be a cremation, that's one. If there's going to be a church service, so it starts at the cemetery, then goes to the church, and then from the church it goes to the cemetery. That's a different production as well. So there would be 3 locations there. Go ahead, Ray.
But then you've got sort of the Tony's situation where, look, I want something, but I can't really afford for the crew that's going to go out to the actual burial site, but I would like the services, and somebody's brother comes up and talks about it, and his kids come up, all of that. I would really love to have that recorded. And you can do that pretty much with a one button push and record. If you want to, and don't want to hire someone to come in and actually switch it. If you had 2 or 3 cameras and had someone switch it, maybe one of your volunteers would be willing to do that sort of thing. But it's the sort of thing that anybody could do with not too much equipment, actually, I think.
Yeah. So again, back in the day before there was even production studio too, I actually helped out a few people that that's what they wanted to semi-specialize into, was actually the funeral market, as it's called, and funeral production market per se. And basically the scenario there was that usually there was services either at the funeral home or the church, and then from there going to the cemetery and having that portion done there as well. So there was a way that we didn't want the people that were asking me to mentor them asked me, they basically said, well, I don't want to cut the feed, because cutting the feed to YouTube or anywhere meant that the show would be over and then stuff. So basically we needed to come up with a way, and the way that I taught them was that I taught them to actually have a sort of master control at their actual offices, that they actually are filming, sending a feed back to their office when they're ready, and then they show from that location. And I think the boy Ray and John are knowing where I'm going with this, because I could see another product that could actually replace this. So basically I told them to have an OBS at their offices that basically listened for the feed that they were going to have from the church and from the cemetery and from the funeral home. Guess what we can replace OBS with now? Production Studio, and 3 Zoom Workplace apps.
Well,
One
and
from
by
each
three
location.
Zoom Workplace apps could be 3 iPhones with Zoom Workplace, and just the guy out by the the burial site is just kind of doing this and being careful, and maybe you've got 2, and then the guy with production studio could switch. If you've only got 1, you've only got 1. If you've got 2, great. The last thing you want is a horde of people with phones all hooked into Zoom and doing it that way. But but you have options, and as long as you keep it reasonable, it's I think easily doable.
Yeah.
Roland graced us with his presence for a couple of
He
seconds.
did.
Good to see you,
I
Roland.
did see that, and I saw the lack of hair too, and it almost freaked me out. It's like, who is this guy? That's true. But yeah, no, definitely a funeral one would not be a bad idea as well, John, for
Yeah.
us to do. It's different because again, church service could actually be weddings. So anything, it could be house of worship, anything that happens at a house of worship, it could be that type of event. So that would be that type of scenario. And Roland agrees with me on that. Then the next one is funeral related. And again, that could be multiple locations and multiple sites, basically, as far as production is concerned, to be able to bring that back from those different sites. And that's not any different than what I was talking about last week with everybody here, was that using production studio, be able to have 3 different corporate offices beaming back in, but yet production studio is actually controlling which one's being seen at what time.
Right. Yeah. You're spot on, Mike and Ray, because that's basically what we have done in many scenarios. It's either has been Zoom becoming everything. So from Zoom, you're going straight to YouTube, or it's been Zoom back to OBS, and OBS capturing the Zoom and then sending that to YouTube. And that has been the perfect solution. And the ability, what Zoom gives you, that the frightening ability is when you can get 2 different persons and you can decide when you are at a location which source to use, and Zoom solves the problem. Poof, there you go. Problem solved.
And I want to touch a little bit, all 3 of you. We've talked a little bit about Zoom Production Studio being only available in webinars, and why can't we get it in meetings? Well, one of the reasons you can't get it in meetings is because if you had 50 people all with their camera on, that would be very unwieldy to use in Production Studio. I would like to see Production Studio have a lead-in dialogue in a meeting like you have for Recording Studio, where you can pick up to 10 people to bring into Production Studio and then run Production Studio with those 10 people, even if you had 500 or 1,000 people in your meeting. And then you could actually control the content that goes to the people in the meeting. And they could use the ability to I don't want to see the Production Studio version. I want to see the crowd of people, 49 people at a time as I scroll through. But then you could also feed in tiles or something along those lines in a meeting. So to me, that sort of is, if I've got to put the little, wiggle in Zoom's ear, is a way to actually leverage this in Zoom meetings, would to be able to use that sort of approach and let Production Studio only deal with those numbers of people that you've checked off, and use that.
And mute everybody else.
Sure, have an option in there for the Production Studio guy to go mute everybody else. You would kind of need, I think, maybe a second production expert to maybe you could have dynamic that box of who is in. You got someone that wants to ask a question. You could check the box and bring them in, like you could take them out of the audience and bring them into the on stage part. And you could check the box. They would appear on the sources. You could drag them in, let them ask their question live, and when they're done, your host, alternate host, could uncheck the person so that they're no longer on the source.
And would that also want backstage in there too? Is that where backstage comes into play?
I don't think you'd want backstage in a webinar. I mean, in a meeting. I mean, you've got breakout rooms at a meeting. If you need people to go somewhere, you got breakout rooms easily enough. But the real question is, if I've got 100 or 50 or 25 or 1,000 people, how do I somehow productionize the output, and not just for the people that are attending, but we're also going to be live streaming, and I want to have control over the live streaming view. And you're not only caring for the people who are in the meeting, but you're caring for the live streaming view, and you've got control over that. as opposed to you've got active speaker, or you've got gallery, or you've got shared screen. That's all you got if you don't have Production Studio, or you can mix it with vMix or Ecamm or something like that.
Right. Right. John, any thoughts before we go to a question from YouTube?
Okay, so I'm not sure if I can do the funeral one because I don't seem to have as much knowledge as you guys, but I have now got episodes for every week up to the 8th of September. So thank you very much.
There you go, everybody. There's your
How
little
do you fill
carrot.
in your book, John?
That's it. Gotta fill in that content. Gotta have the content to make content. All right. So Brody is joining us on YouTube and he's asking, in the era of AI enhanced hacking, I now accept every update to Zoom and other apps when available, since they are being plugged be plugging AI detected security have been plugging AI detected security issues. Any pitfalls with this approach? I will give my 2 cents first, and that is that I do know that the Windows, if we're going to be specific with Windows operating system, and this is something that Buddy Ray and I have fallen into, is that there is currently not documented well bug with the and I will get the terminology here momentarily, but it's basically the subsystem within Windows related to the, let's just call it the device driver. It's not really, but I'll explain a little more in a sec. That basically does a good job to Zoom Production Studio currently, and that is the only portion that it seems to be irritating right now when it comes to the Zoom product. Having said that, it's not Zoom's fault. It is Microsoft's fault. So that is, and there is a workaround for that. And I've actually figured out through a lot of trial and error with myself and my team what the actual workarounds are. And if you're interested, let me know in chat and I will get that out to the community. It hasn't affected many of us. It does affect depending on the graphic card you have. So if it's an Intel based or NVIDIA based graphic card, they are both affected, and there's 2 different methods of getting around the bug. And that was as of, just give me a sec, and I'm just going to reference my docs because I don't have everything memorized related to that, but it's, yeah. If any of my guys want to talk for a sec, and I'm just going to look that up for everybody. But yeah, so in the regards of, I'll finish up with this and then I'll get back to the specifics that I just gave, which is it a good thing to stay up to date with everything operating system? Yes. But in this case, if you're running Production Studio on Windows and you do have certain hardware, there may be an issue that you could not run Zoom Production Studio in maximize mode. Now you can run it full screen, but not maximize. There's a difference. If you're a Windows user, you know what that means. Basically, you can actually stretch Production Studio to the full size of the screen, but do not maximize. So it's everything but maximize. Because as soon as you hit maximize, there is a potential that you run into this bug. And this bug is not going to get fixed until either later on this month, if not early next month. And has it affected me during our shows every week? Yes. And I've purposely made sure I've gotten myself around it. All right, I'm going to look for that. Any other thoughts for Brody when it comes to keeping up to date with everything else? In any other scenarios, operating system?
That's my 2
apps?
cents too. You want to stay as up to date as possible, but you have to be aware of things that might break you. And if you break something that's very important to you, you need to have a means to go back and undo whatever the latest update was. So the previous updates of Zoom are available within the quarterly window area. If you need to go back a version or two for some Zoom thing that breaks for you, it's a little bit more difficult to find, but and then things that can happen with Zoom or Windows and your operating system, Mac.
Cool. Anything, Johnny? Dad?
Well, I would just like to point out there's some really neat stuff being done by various third parties who are taking scenarios to protect against AI bots and things like that. Probably the one that springs to mind the easiest is there's quite a few tools now which allow you to do interviews in Zoom, but the system is really well set up to catch bots, AI tools, and things like that, pretending to be people when they're not real. Yeah, that is a thing. Unfortunately, this conversational skill of AI now to be able to get a response quick enough that it seems like you're talking to a human. They now need to have an AI tool to say when you're actually not talking to a human, you're talking to an AI bot that's talking back to you. And I suppose that's seems a bit weird for people that use Zoom a lot, because people who use Zoom a lot are probably more likely to catch out a bot. But if you're in the department, HR, and you're not using Zoom that much, it's going to be a lot harder for you to be used to the Zoom environment and to pick up AI bots and cheats in the system. But there's a lot of interesting stuff being done around that way. So that's taking the Zoom feed and then processing it and then coming back. I have suspicion there is a bot on the screen now, but it was just Ray using his avatar. I think most people would see through that one. But I did see a video on YouTube. There he is. I did see a video on YouTube where in a court case being heard remotely, and this guy thought it was really quite clever of him be using an AI bot to be his legal representative. Obviously, as soon as that was found out, that didn't go down so well. So I wouldn't recommend it.
Right. Okay. Very cool. So yeah, so the actual, I did find that my document here. So basically
RTMS.
Oh, you're talking about, hold on.
Yeah.
Time out about RTMS. We'll go down that road here momentarily. That's a topic and a half. All right. So the actual bug right now in Windows is the Windows graphics handler. And basically working in conjunction with my team and also a little bit of Gemini here and there. Basically, it is Windows graphics handler prevents text, buttons, and thumbnails from turning invisible. So I know that sounds a little weird, but that basically what we're actually, and again, it's an Intel GPU bug, and there's also as well, and Ray's unfortunately not out of the woods with this either, even though he's got an NVIDIA. There's also the Windows graphics handler also affects him too for when it comes to NVIDIA, and it's more about it's a buggy Windows multi-plane overlay pipeline. So unfortunately for the NVIDIA world, it's a different terminology, but it's depending on if you have an Intel-based graphics GPU or if you have an NVIDIA-based graphics GPU, they deal with it differently. And on the NVIDIA side for Ray, it would be the Windows multi-plane overlay, short form NPO, pipeline causes massive UI drops in Chromium-based apps. And you'll go, but Mike, we're using Zoom. Correct. Zoom is a Chromium-based app, everyone. So that is why right now there is that bug in Production Studio for Ray and I. And Ray, when Ray, you told me about the fact of it actually going behind, the preview screen was actually going behind the program screen. That is for sure that portion that is broken. And what that tells me is that, and again, if you look at the zip that I sent, I go into full details on that. It is a specific patch. If your Windows machine already has that patch done, then it actually was introduced in that patch. Go figure. So Windows adding a bug for free. So even though they're fixing bugs, they added one for free because they actually broke that portion for our friends at Chrome/Chromium. So that would it affect Google Chrome? Yes. Edge? Yes, it affects Edge too. Go figure. It also affects, unfortunately, Zoom because Zoom is a Chromium-based browser. Cool.
Well, I'm
And I
gonna
know-
have to
I know
duck
in-
out here.
Okay.
2:30 my time, 5:30 East Coast. I got some work I got to do this afternoon before I retire for the evening. So it's been great. This last couple of weeks for me have been much more engaging, much more information packed. Let's keep up the momentum.
Absolutely. Cool, Ray. Good to see you on Tuesday.
There, guys. Yeah.
We'll see you soon.
That was fun too. Even if it did go, how long did it go? Yeah, I know how long it went. It did not seem that long to me, so that's a good thing. You know, if I could sit through a 3-hour movie and go, it's over already. You know, it's pretty good. So appreciate you guys pulling those together, and happy to contribute whenever I have something that I can actually contribute to. So.
Uh-huh.
Thanks,
I'm
Ray.
I'm seeing a future to Zoom Navigator segment, John. What do you think? You know.
Yeah, we might talk about that somewhere along the way downstream. Very cool. See you later, guys.
Ciao, Ray. Take care. All right, Mr. Drinkwater. So, yes, I'm just going to reply back to Rody that he's welcome. You're welcome. Yeah, I'm working with everybody in chat too. Yes,
So
John?
in the security world, I just thought there's one other thing which is coming out in Zoom. It might even be available already. They have put a security feature in which you can enable, which stops people screen scraping. It encodes the video signal, so you cannot copy the screen with a screen capture tool. You can't record the screen with a screen recording tool. Obviously, if you want to get your camera out or your phone out and record the screen, we can't stop you doing that. But at least it gives a level of security that you can stop people from being able to capture the screen if there's something that you don't want them to see.
Yeah. It's something I think Frank mentioned it last week when you were going through.
Yeah, I still haven't found out how to set it up and demonstrate it on my system yet. But
it's in the settings.
Yeah.
When you go to you have to go to the admin, but your regular settings, just search for what's it call it now? Screen, and then it will come up. That's why I found it.
Within Workplace, you're talking.
In Workplace, yeah.
In the Workplace app.
And then it's a toggle. You toggle it if you want to put it on or off.
Now, would that protect the meeting as well? Or that it's just protecting your local client?
It seems to be protecting the meeting. So if somebody tries to capture the screen, like pin it like normally would do, they run into a problem. But I think there was some bugs with it though that was affecting some people when they tried to do it. So some persons were apparently having problem for the like simple things like dual screen. Some persons were having problems with dual screens because of it. It was affecting some persons with that. I don't know if that was resolved. I saw some complaint about that.
Okay. Johnny, your thoughts? Anything?
Well, it's a nightmare to do, and it's quite funny because when I first installed Zoom on a Mac, you had to undo a security feature within the Mac to allow you the screen sharing to work. So this is like going backwards again.
Cute.
It will put off people, but If you're displaying it on a screen, then you're never going to be able to stop it completely. And of course, don't forget that when you're streaming in Zoom events, probably Webinar Plus, you can also encode the name of the person on each single stream. So if they record their screen and share it, their name will be on the screen, so you'll know it was them that shared it.
Right. Yeah. Good point. So this won't, John, you think so is this already, so it's already implemented, right? This feature? It was in the last revision of the client, right?
That's why I'm having a look to see if I can find it.
Okay. All right. Okay. So if it is there, would my brain automatically goes to those people that are screen scraping, our production world people that are still screen scraping, that haven't gone down the road of production studio or a Zoom ISO or equivalent. Will this affect them?
It would if somebody turned it on, yeah.
Right, because they wouldn't be able then to add that source of screen scraping into the actual.
I think it's done per event. I think you'd have to be the administrator of the event. I don't think random people can turn it on. I thought the idea was it was for an event, so that so I'm looking over here because I'm still trying to see if I can find the settings.
Yeah, of course.
I suppose I should just give up and ask an AI bot for one. And at
Ask an
least
AI
I'll
bot.
get 6 different answers then.
Yeah, as compared to just, is there one? Right. Got it. Understood. Okay, cool. All right, I'm going to throw this up there one more time. If there's any questions from our community on YouTube, let us know in chat, and we will do our best, like we just did with Mr. Brody, and helped him along to figure out if AI finding all the bugs in software is a good thing to update. And the answer is, for the most part, yes, but understand that those bugs might have been there before to fix things, and now they fix those bugs, and it might cause things to actually break too. So not only are they fixing bugs, but those bugs that they might be fixing should maybe not have been fixed, but might break something else. So there's this, as I saw on Leo Laporte's show today on Security Now, quickly, they were saying basically, again, with the amount of updates that are coming out, that came out this week with the update patch on Tuesday, there was well over 500 critical scenarios, critical bugs or critical fixes that they actually did, which is outrageous. It's never been heard of that Microsoft has fixed so many in a patch in itself. So what basically is expected, which I totally agree with, is that you'll see over the coming weeks, if not, well, in this case, months, that hopefully that number every time will start to decline from the 500s down to the, hopefully next maybe the 400s, and hopefully not as much, get down to the point of actually being a lot more closer to actually being going back to, oh, this is a problem, we're just going to fix that problem, as compared to, oh, yeah, we'll forget that problem exists and we'll keep going, which they've been doing for, as obviously, if there was 500, they've been doing that for a while. Cool. All right. And we're pretty quiet, and I know there are definitely everybody watching still. So if you do have any questions, do let us know in chat. We'll be keeping this going for a little bit while longer. And I'm relying on Mr. Drinkwater's. Looks like he might have found something.
Yeah. So most of the references to it are to the release notes. So this is set up to allow account owners and administrators to disable participants' ability to capture meeting content when the protection is active Zoom makes the meeting window inaccessible or invisible to supported operating system screenshots and screen recording tools. The protection applies to participants' videos, shared screens, whiteboards, in-meeting chat, captions, polls, and quizzes. So pretty much everything that you can put in a window for Zoom. And if you want to enable it, it is not on the Zoom Workplace app. It's buried in the account management account settings. And it's called Prevent Screen Capture of Meeting Content. If you want to have a look for it. And you need to be in Zoom Workplace 7.1 or later. So if you've got an older version of Zoom, it's not going to be having the protection. So I don't think it's something that people are going to necessarily turn on and off for particular meetings, or it doesn't look like you can certainly do it inside a meeting, because you need to be in your advanced options to do it, or it might be account wide. I can see a lot of corporates finding this perhaps a thing that they might like to enable just company wide.
Yeah. Again, depending on the situation, that's all you know. Automatically thinking school situation where we don't necessarily want students recording stuff.
I think it's a lovely feature to have added.
Yeah. And I'm thinking even on the lawyer side, that would be another big one too. So that somebody doesn't accidentally, again, of course, a phone,
accounts, financial accounts, anyone sharing customer information. This would be really neat because it gives you a layer of protection to stop people being a bit naughty and recording stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Any final thoughts from your lordship before we wrap it up this week? And then I'll go over to Mr. Rowland.
Nope. I have Lord Zoom Lives scheduled now until September, so that's fantastic. So it's been very useful for me.
All right. And any teasers of what we're going to be talking about on Tuesday?
No.
No teasers. That's a tease in itself, John.
No, but I will be I'm going to start publishing it on YouTube at the weekends now. Now our platform's getting more reliable again.
Excellent. So
and
watch out,
if you
everybody.
go to our events portal, you'll see the names, you'll see the titles of all the events that I've set up for the future, including, I think it's the 18th of August, when I'm hoping I've managed to find a Zoomie who can sit down and talk about CMS for us.
Right.
So this content management system that we mentioned.
Yeah. And to see where it fits in the actual ecosystem of Zoom. Yeah.
Yeah, to get a strategic idea of what it's about, why it's there, and what you can use it for.
And what maybe potential future plans they have too, if they're willing to share it with us. I
got a feeling that just talking about what it can do already is going to take one show. So maybe we'll get to future plans or where it's going, but I wouldn't be certain of that.
Yeah, so it's starting to sound like it might be as big as potential Zoom phone that we're doing.
I think it's going to be a really big subject, and we've got two worlds to look at, because at the corporate level they get this thrown in and they probably don't know it's there and probably don't make use of it as much as they could. And at the other level, we get, was it 300 users can watch a recording a month as our limit? So most people at the lower level are just not using the tool at all because they don't see the advantage of it. Too many people make the mistake, and we did it tonight, of just thinking it's somewhere to store recordings, and it's so much more than that.
Oh yeah, so much more. Yeah. Is it fair to say that they're looking to YouTube and taking some of their ideas, or not? Is that fair to say or not fair to say?
I don't think in a lot. Well, I think they want to. Yeah, they're looking at the accessibility of YouTube, but I almost feel that it's going down the wrong path if you start talking about it on YouTube in the same breath, because it is so different to YouTube. I mean, at least if you compared it to something like, I don't know, something like Vimeo, then you'd sort of be going in the same direction. But just the analytics you get off their CMS platform is just, it's not the same as, but you get similar data out of that as you do out of running a normal event. So you get really granular. You don't just get how many people visited and how long it is like you get at YouTube. You get much more granular information. Much more useful information. So I'm looking forward to that. I'll have to have I'll have to get it installed on my system and get a good play of it before then as well. So I've got some practical experience.
Right, exactly.
So,
yeah, very cool. Roland, anything before we finish up? How's life down in Jamaica? Are we getting back to
just hot. But apart from that, it's okay. No
Good.
complaints.
Good. Weather's
Yeah.
been good. You get the weather's
Just
been
hot.
treating you better.
Just hot.
Just hot. Period. Okay. All right,
Yeah.
that's good.
But all
Yeah.
right. Cool.
Yeah. We are officially just hot, but we're a little smoky too.
So
How
that, so I
smoky?
hear. Yeah, so I hear that
Yeah.
you're having that problem in Canada, some places.
Yeah. That's how smoky, everybody. I'll show that quickly. So this is the latest maps
Okay.
refreshed. So that's coming from Northern Ontario.
And congrats
So-
to you guys again for your awards.
Oh, yes. Or the
surprised. I was surprised to see that one.
yeah, the
This is
Zoom
a new. This is a
developer-
new new award.
Yeah. Johnny?
Okay.
Yeah.
no, there were awards last year for the developers
Okay.
conference, I believe.
Yeah.
But
But
I
again,
don't
this is
think
the first
they
time
had
that-
that particular award before.
Yeah. Yeah. Our category was not there last year.
But then, of course, the category that we're part of only started 18 months ago. So there wasn't much. There wasn't much done by the community developers last year because we'd only really just started probably 6 months before that, I think. So, yeah, it was nice to have it. I found out a good hour and 5 minutes before it was awarded. So that was useful too.
Yeah. Yeah. Johnny and I both got emails sent to us going, just so you know.
Just in case you want to make sure you're there.
Yeah. And we wanted to make sure that you do come to this, are going to be at the summit because, you and John are officially getting, Zoom Developer Innovation Award, Johnny, right? I don't know. Do you remember the category? I'm trying to remember the category.
No, it was just nice to be on that screen with the other guys because I know what some of the other guys have been up to and the work they've done. So that was nice to be acknowledged with them.
Yeah. And again, we were the only individuals given awards. The other awards given out were all companies.
Yeah.
So Roland is good. It's just hot.
Okay.
Yes.
That's hot.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah. We're hot and smoky. I've got
I hope
the
that the
double
smoke
whammy.
will end soon.
Yeah. Nah, we'll see. We'll see. It comes in waves, as you were saying too. Like I'll show it here quickly again. So yeah, it's coming in waves. So yeah, as you can see, all those red dots are brand new fires that are currently out there. So yes, this map also includes our friends in the US too. You guys have them as there as well. But yeah, we're the ones causing a lot of the grief going southbound, unfortunately, because it's coming from Northern Ontario down right now. Because where that big pocket is on the top left, where you have majority of the fires right now, that is Northern Ontario. And of course, Frank and I, you saw Frank earlier, both of us were in Southern Ontario. So we're near the Great Lakes at the bottom. But I don't want to end on a terrible note. So it's time for, you guessed it, Zoom Test Kitchen Karaoke. That's right. And I promise not to blast everybody's ears off. And by the way, the magical setting that I do all the time for no matter if it's production studio or playing back a video through the video file share is 30. Oh, yes, John, as you stopped me doing so.
There we are. There's the setting. So if you go into your account management, if you're the account holder, not a
Okay.
user, if you're account holder, go into meetings, and then you can hit prevents screen capture, and there's just one big button there which does it for everybody.
Excellent. Johnny was throwing that in just before we did karaoke. Okay, let me do that again. All right. Keep talking, guys, while I set that up again. I set that up in the background here. All right.
Sorry, I broke it.
No, that's okay. See, that's a good thing, and that's a bad thing in meeting, and that's a good thing in production studio is that you can't do that to me in production studio. All right. Zoom Test Kitchen. Karaoke time. Everybody, let's go.
Welcome to the Zoom Test Kitchen where the magic happens live. Every Friday we're on air testing tech to thrive. From screen share to breakout rooms, we push Zoom to its max. So sit back, relax, and let's see what's in our tech hacks. Zooming in, we're testing it all. Live on YouTube each week. From audio to video, no feature we won't tweak. We're the Zoom Test Kitchen crew, here to innovate. Join the fun, learn the tech, don't be late. We'll dive into the settings, explore every single tab. Make sure your mic is clear, your camera not a drab. We'll show you how to host like a pro, manage like a king. With Zoom Test Kitchen, you'll be zooming with a zing. Zooming in, we're testing it all. Live on YouTube each week. From audio to video, no feature we won't tweak. We're the Zoom Test Kitchen crew, here to innovate. Join the fun, learn the tech, don't be late. Whether you're new to Zoom or an expert in disguise, we've got tips and tricks, we'll open up your eyes. From polls to quizzes, we test functionalities. Join us live, see what Zoom does with these. So if your meetings lag, or you can't share your screen, or if your audio echoes like you're stuck in between, we've got solutions, we'll show you how it's done. Zoom Test Kitchen, where Zoom fun has begun. Zooming in, we're testing it all. Live on YouTube each week. From audio to video, no feature we won't tweak. We're the Zoom Test Kitchen crew, here to innovate. Join the fun, learn the tech, don't be late. So tune in, don't miss out on this tech fest we lead. Every Friday, Zoom Test Kitchen, where you'll succeed. We'll make your Zoom meeting smooth, keep the tech in check. In the Zoom Test Kitchen, we've got your back. No We're the Zoom Test Kitchen, we've got your back.
All right. I heard you, Zoom Test Kitchen community. You're sounding awesome out there this week. Thanks, everyone, for joining us this week on the Zoom Test Kitchen. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel to let YouTube know. And of course, that also lets Zoom know how much you love our content. We're here every Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Pacific. And you never know what Mr. Paskin and I have in store for you next week. So see everyone next week for another rending and wild edition of the Zoom Test Kitchen. Take care, everyone, on YouTube.